Okay, it looks like we're live, but I don't see any picture. Okay, I see it. So it looks like everything's connected. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 111 of The Balancing Act. We are back with Ultra Despair Girls for one of our classic short Sundays. At this point, we're just trying to get away from the uncomfortable circle that we ended up in, and I don't really know what we're kind of heading to, because we got... Did we get out of dealing with social studies kid, or did he just No, wait. Last time we dealt with Nagito and had like a whole thing with him.
Yeah, and we fought genocide.
Yeah, and we finally got the friendship going full circle, sort of. We're pretty much there. We've gotten to be good friends. With I forgot the terrible girl's name again.
Toko?
Toko is her name. We still haven't figured out what word she's carved into her leg, though. That is a complete mystery.
Whatever statement she's carved into her leg, because I think it's more than one word, but I don't know. I don't read Japanese kanji. But yeah, so I forget exactly why or how, but...
We're at level 60, which is pretty crazy.
Apparently, what's-his face? The leader of the resistance guy right there. He's got a trump card, but in order to get the trump card, we had to go to his company's factory, which turns out where all the Monokuma robots have been being manufactured.
Yeah, they're not just being manufactured on Dream Island.
So now I got to figure out what's going on here. And get to his trump card.
We got underneath the subway, which was for some reason like a really, really hard to figure out level. I remember we had problems getting through the subway.
Yeah, I don't quite remember where we all had to do or where we all had to run. The kid was escorting us out of the city. He brought us to a specific spot where it was like, hey, if you take this tunnel, you can leave. And he took off our bomb bracelet, which, as you can see, we don't have a bomb bracelet on.
Yep.
But then when he was about to let us go, Nagito showed up and was basically like, I have a plan, and my plan requires you guys to go face the blah blah, so, I'm gonna kill Byakuya if you don't. And then we got into a fight with Genocide, and then she, took a dive. It was revealed that, while she fought us in a way where we were gonna win, and thus if we wanted to escape, we could. But our character's too much of a friend, and so now these two are friends.
Yeah, I forgot that's at the stupid plot point where Kamaru was like, hey, I finally reached my objective, I can escape the city, and then she's like, but do you really want me to stay? And the Genocide Jack turned her down 3 times, to the point where, yes, we fought her directly to force us to leave, and yet we still decided to do the dumb thing and stayed around.
Yeah. Because Toko was trying to get us to leave for our safety, but then also Nagito was threatening Byakuya's life,
and that's
if he didn't have us go with him, because he needs us to take down the kids for some reason, and we don't fully know what Nagito's plan is.
We also got to see that, I don't remember how he was wounded, but someone slashed his leg apart at some point.
Genocide did.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that she did it because we're using a sound gun, so, Kamaru can't do it. And again, Mr. Broken Arm over here really can't do anything. This is gonna be a fun stealth section.
Yeah, that's right. We can't get touched by the lasers, otherwise you have to fight a fuck ton of Monokumas.
Aren't you gonna get behind that giant black box?
Well, because I need to get that. I'll have to look at the layout of the room, but based on how I could tell, I didn't think I could.
Okay, fight the Siren Monokuma on the top thingamajig.
Yeah, that's what I need to do, you're right.
Get your sniper on.
Ah, fuck.
You have a fast bullet?
I do.
There you go. That'll do it. Especially since you can shoot him out 10 times a second. Okay, how the fuck am I not hitting you?
Okay, got him.
And you leveled up again.
That stops the spawn.
This is the dumbest security system. This is so bad. Okay, we direct an intruder, we'll summon 4 security robots, and if they kill all of them, then we're just gonna deactivate the whole thing.
Oh, you're right. I could have gone behind that thing. Okay. I didn't think it was U-shaped like that. I thought there was only one side that I could come in and out of that. I didn't see that there was a U-shaped path around that block there.
I don't think they'd be that big of jerks about it.
Well, I thought maybe there was just enough time to run across the whole thing because it was like the first area.
Okay, so what are we fighting here? What's the game plan? Game? Hey, 4 of your badass bullets. Here's a giant floor switch. Classic factory.
That door over there opens when someone steps on the switch.
Oh my god, it's almost like we're in a game.
Then Kamaru and I can go through.
Yeah, because you're gonna be so helpful.
Don't leave me behind.
Well, why don't you leave Broken Arm McGee behind?
Run for now.
I love how IG just immediately bolts it after one monobot. It's not even a variant, it's literally just a monobot. Can we... Oh, yeah, because we have Link. Can we just use Link on any robot?
Yeah.
Well, then there's your answer. Gotta appreciate how Haiji was so scared and then he just crouched on the floor. Yeah, this wasn't much of a puzzle game.
Oh, okay, and if we ever need to get back, we can link it from over here. That's what this whole thing is for.
This is the stupidest factory design ever. They designed it specifically so you, Kamaru, could get around with your noise gun. Oh, with your code gun. I mean, this is definitely a third-person shooter made by Chunsoft. It's not the best at gameplay.
Did it already go by? Oh,
well, I mean, I don't even think you're supposed to... Yeah, you're not supposed to go around that corner.
Well, no, I mean, but I thought the light could go through that corner and thus catch me if I'm standing in front of the door.
Is this room exactly the same as the other room, or did we somehow go around in a circle?
We definitely didn't go around in a circle, and I can pull up the map to prove it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's impossible, but
so
why does
that
this
lower
room look
right
exactly
box
the
is
same?
where we started. That lower right box is where we started.
This is really weird. We needed 2 storage rooms of aquariums, and if we didn't have them, we'd be completely fucked as a factory. We needed somewhere to store all the grass.
Also, you're incorrect. We do have to go around that corner, because according to the map, that's the only path.
I don't know how, but there's a gate. Oh wait, there's a hallway towards the gate.
Yeah.
That was gonna be the fun part.
And I have to be extra careful.
Well, not that careful. I mean, you just have to get behind that big thing.
Well,
I mean, that was your fault.
Whatever. I thought it was moving a little faster than it did, so I stepped out into it rather than.
You don't have the range. Here's just a gun that shoots the word fire. Wait, what? You summon the alarm, but none of the guards.
Well, it summons the guards, but if I take out the alarm one, all the guard ones die.
This is the dumbest security system in the universe. What the fuck? Who built this bullshit place?
What? It doesn't move fast enough, I swear to God.
I don't know, like, I got caught 3 times. It's not that many times, Toko. It's not like I got caught 16 times. It wasn't even worth it, like, you literally just got 1 bullet.
Well, I got bullet types I don't need, if that's the problem.
Okay, did genocide kill that one, or did it blow itself up?
Okay, once again, when I kill the alarm one, all of the guard ones that get spawned automatically die.
That's that's again the stupidest alarm system. None of this makes any fucking sense. I'll just be careful in case you don't get edged out again.
Yeah, I have to trust that it's gonna be super slow.
Because I'll definitely give you that last one, like, because you literally got, like, edged on that one.
Well, yeah, but the problem of how I got caught on the last two is my brain thinks the thing moves faster than it actually does.
Why don't we just go back in time and do Ocarina of Time stealth, where it's just a big joke? Like, it's not actual stealth because it's so fucking stupid. Because this is a very bad stealth section.
Yeah, there is something over there.
Yeah, I mean, do you really want to go for it? You might have to get caught, like, another 2 times.
No, I'm fine now that I know the speed at which it moves.
Do you think starting on the topic I had planned would be a good distraction for you to get through this?
I mean, you can. That's fine.
Oh, we probably should get through this because this is a 60-year-old man.
So this is... He's related to Kyoko.
Yeah, Kyoko. And he's a bookstore owner, he likes books. I mean, he's named Detective, so I guess he might be a cop, which would make sense.
Well, yeah, she comes from a detective family. Her dad is this is probably her grandfather or her uncle, if I had to take a guess.
He looks pretty well put together for, like, a mid-60s man.
Well, I mean, the thing is we already know who her dad is, so it's not her dad.
Oh god, who is her father?
What? How did that hit me? I was behind the wall!
Well, the game decided that wall didn't actually exist.
Yeah, apparently.
Anyway, here's your 4th robot.
Whatever.
Yeah, this has gotta be, like, top 15 stupidest stealth sections. Like, this is really, really awful.
Well, yeah, because literally I only have to kill the one guy. It's just a resource tax every single time it happens. That's the annoying part. Is it's a resource tax.
I mean, do you really need resources when one of your bullets is literally infinite? I mean, I know it's shitty, but still.
None of the bullets that do damage are infinite.
How are you?
This is infinite and this is infinite. Neither of those.
We don't have infinite break bullets?
Nope.
I've
been out of break this entire time today. Ever since we started today, I've been out of break. Just now is when I got break back.
Okay, that should be the infinite, like, shitty... That should be the infinite shitty gun. Okay, so we got a door, which means we need to use Link. To open that door...
So we gotta take that guy and open the door.
We only got knocked back and move, so how...
Well, yeah, so here's what we do, right?
Yes.
This guy right here, right? This far right guy. We link him, we walk him to that button, we have him stop on the button. This door opens. We go up, we go over, we head here, we knock back the ball so that it rolls into those guys.
I guess I didn't think we could get that involved in the puzzle.
As long as they don't detect us.
Well, I'm gonna assume your plan works then, because I can't think of another good way of making it happen.
I can't think of another one unless I can link the... Well, even if Alright, and then on link, and then we go...
Why is Genocide so scared of everything? Not even Haiji's constantly crouching. Hopefully this fucking works. I think it worked.
It works.
I mean, these challenge rooms have been, like, consistently dicking you over through this entire LP.
Where the fuck did this guy come from?
He got spawned in from the other room?
Well, he's not part of the puzzle, because if he was part of the puzzle, I wouldn't have succeeded.
Yes. Which is why it's odd.
My guess is, he always respawns so you can go back, because there needs to be someone to stand on the button to go back, so he constantly respawns.
Let's just kill him for infinite experience.
Wait, more stealth crap.
Here's a random bullet for
I
no
didn't mean to
reason.
hit that. I didn't mean to hit that.
Okay, you're gonna have to run behind that black box.
I've been playing other video games, and now my fucking brain is confused on what
You've leveled
buttons
up
do
4
what.
times since we started. I think we've only been playing for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, but levels hardly matter in this.
Yeah,
All the
which is
levels
why
do
it's
is they
so
give me
weird.
give me points for these abilities, and I always have enough points for the abilities I have.
It's almost like this game shouldn't have been an RPG to begin with.
Want those bullets?
Let's use the elevator to go down.
Yeah, let's use an elevator to do elevator things. Oh, this guy, he's a credit to his company. He's a credit to his entire species.
But yeah, because I've been playing. I finished in the past 2 weeks. I have finished 2 games and have started a third, which is like a lot of games for me in a week. In
Well,
that
isn't
short
that
period of
because
time.
you
I
leave?
finished.
Isn't that because you leave every one of your games 75% completed anyway?
Well, that and I just haven't been playing a lot of video games lately. So I beat Engage, and then after I beat Engage, I went back and I beat Pokemon Scarlet, which, by the way, I have opinions. The opinion is that Pokemon game would be the best Pokemon game ever made if it wasn't for performance issues. Literally, that's the only major problem with the game is performance issues. I believe it has a really good story for Pokemon. It did some really cool, crazy twist stuff that I was not expecting story-wise. It's just that the game, like, it doesn't run very well, and there's a lot of like performance issues.
Well, do you mean like that just in general, or by like Pokemon standards?
By Pokemon standards, it'd be the best.
Okay.
It'd be one of the best Pokemon games.
Because that's a pretty high bar considering they're like 40 games deep at this point.
Right. Out of all the Pokemon games, well, yeah, but Pokemon games tend not to have that great of stories in the long run. Like most people,
Yeah.
if you ask them what Pokemon game has the best story, typically in the past they'd poke to Black and White, Black and White 2, specifically I think Black and White 2 over Black and White, I don't remember, but Black and White 2, and then
Yeah, because I wouldn't have
the Sun and Moon, and that's like basically it.
I wouldn't have imagined that like a main series game would ever even be in contention for best story. I thought it'd be like something from the Mystery Dungeon or maybe one of the Pokemon Ranger games.
Well, I'm not talking about Mystery Dungeon and stuff like that.
Well, I am because this is a franchise.
I mean, that's fine, but when people say the best story out of the Pokemon games, typically they're talking about the main series ones, but yeah.
Well,
that's
then,
fair.
Then say the main series, like, but if you're going to say Pokemon game, I'm going to assume that you mean the whole thing.
Right, and I'm clarifying now that I didn't mean that, and that I don't think most of the time that's not what people mean, but because I feel like if it were, I would hear about the other spin-off games more often, and I really don't. So when people online are talking about the best Pokemon story, so I assume there's typically, at least in those spaces, there's an understood point of it's the main series. But yeah, so out of the main series, I definitely think like there is a strong argument to make, and it might come down to personal preferences. So to my knowledge, one of the things with the Pokemon series and because I already said that it's a lot of it's Sun and Moon versus like Black and White, and the reason for that, a lot of the times from what I've been able to gather, comes down to whether you like plot-driven stories where like there's not a whole lot of characterization to the characters in the stories, but there's like big major events and plot stuff going on, or if you like a game that's very about the characters and the character development, because Sun and Moon has a lot of focus on its core cast of characters that are like your rivals and that, and like their lives and like how things affect them. But then Black and White is very focused on like a large grand like scheme, and there's not a whole lot of characterization to a lot of the characters, like the characters don't get very deep, but you have this like grand plot of like what's going on with the world. And so it's whether you want a plot focused story or a character driven story is like typically what ends up being the thing that takes one over the other one for a person. Like if before this game, had you asked me which Pokemon game I thought was the best Pokemon game story wise, or at least the main series, I would have said Sun and Moon. I think Sun and Moon has the best storyline out of all of them. That one's a very character-driven story, and I prefer character-driven stories. I know some people, though, that I've talked to prefer black and white story, and that's because they don't care so much about the character-driven stories, narrative, so much as they want the plot-driven narrative. So they prefer that because you have like this grand plot of villains doing stuff and like what Team Plasma's whole grand plan is and stuff like that, and Gexus as a villain and stuff like that. But the new one, without spoiling anything, I think is the best of both worlds. I think it has some really good plot-driven story elements and some really good character-driven story elements. And I think they did a good job in how they designed the game story-wise, because you have in Scarlet and Violet you have 3 different storylines, like essentially 3 different things you can do, and each one is like a separate story. And one story is like the generic what most Pokemon stories are and why they're not very exciting, because it's just like, yeah, go fight all the gyms. And so like you get the cool like, hey, these gym leaders are kind of interesting, or they're quirky, or they're kind of funny or interesting people.
Yeah, because like, I mean, from my experience, which is very limited I mean, if we were, let's just say like the retro half, for lack of a better word. Even though that's technically the story, they don't really put a lot of stock in it, because it's like, yeah, it's more just pure like gameplays. Go do all the gyms. It's not like a story of like your character going through an arc to be the best that they ever do. They're basically just leveling up and doing the RPG thing, and eventually they just defeat all the challenges. The story isn't really about them defeating all the challenges, because there's not really I mean, they might have fixed that like Diamond on, because I think they put in a lot more dialogue, I guess. They put in a lot more characters saying things. So maybe they ended up fixing that, but from my experience, it's like, it doesn't really seem like they really have the narrative to back up the usual journey of a Pokemon trainer.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point where you mentioned later on they bring in more dialogue, and they do, and you're correct. However, what ends up happening, and what a lot of people's perspectives on stuff seems to be, is that the game introduces more dialogue and more story, but it's all kind of second. Like the main story is still quote unquote your character beating all the gyms and like trying to be the best, and that's just not a very interesting story. And because a lot more focus seems to be put onto that with like random little side episodes of, hey, go stop the bad guys for like 10 minutes, like it never feels as good. But then you have Black and White, which puts a lot more focus on the villain team overall in comparison to the gyms, where it feels like the gyms are secondary to stopping the bad guys, instead of the other way around. And then you have the character-driven story of Sun and Moon, where it's not about like your character's going on this journey, but like while going on this journey, you're going on it with other people, and all those people are growing as people throughout the journey and having like, they're learning things and they're developing as characters. So while the player character avatar doesn't really like improve, like the characters you're with grow. And once again, that stuff ends up feeling more upfront than the actual like island challenge, because that one doesn't have gyms. And so like what ends up happening in Scarlet and Violet is each story feels like it has an equal amount of weight, so nothing feels secondary to the gym challenge, which is where a lot of older Pokemon games fall flat, even the ones that do have more dialogue like Diamond and Pearl and stuff. You end up having more focus on everything equally. And so like, yeah, the gym challenge story is not all that amazing. It's basically like, go fight all the gyms. Hey, you did it. You're becoming the strongest trainer ever. Don't you love being the strongest trainer ever? But then you have 2 other stories, one of which is about the villain team, and one of which is about it's kind of a new thing that's about like these Titan Pokemon, like these giant super powerful Pokemon, and like you're helping this trainer like hunt down these herbs. And like both of those stories are really good on their own. And then once you're done with all 3 of those stories, and you like beat the Elite Four, the game gives you like when you beat the Elite Four, the credits don't roll. Like unlike most Pokemon games, with beating the Elite Four is when the credits roll. No, the credits don't roll yet. What ends up happening is like once beating the Elite Four is considered the end of the gym story, and once you beat all 3 stories, a story beat happens that brings all 3 stories together, into a 4th story that kind of like wraps up everything and has like some really cool plot twists and stuff in it. And then once you beat that story is when the end credits roll. And so out of all the main Pokemon games, I would argue that it's one of the best.
Well, it's pretty high praise considering this is the 9th. This is technically the 10th one in the lot.
Yeah, story wise, this one would be 10 kind of. So like it depends on whether you consider like Platinum a different story than Diamond and Pearl, or if you considered it like an upgraded story of Diamond and Pearl.
Yeah, this is kind of a naughty issue just because Game Freak always like, I don't know about always, but usually releases like a consolidated additional edition that's kind of its own separate thing.
Yeah, so
I don't really know if I'd call them sequels all the time.
No, the only games in Pokemon series, the main series Pokemon games that are actual sequels are Gold and Silver are a direct sequel to the events of Red and Blue. And then the only other one that's a direct sequel is Black and White 2 is a direct sequel to Black and White 1. So that like Black and White 2 is literally a separate story. That where the events of Black and White 1 happened.
We should probably start keeping the game going.
But yeah, most of the Pokemon games are like a retelling of the first one story with new parts.
Don't you think this is strange? It's just like I thought. This place is fishy. Monokuma's gone.
Yeah, I have more opinions on the game that I was playing this week because I didn't really have a lot of time, just because RuneScape is doing that Memorburger thing where it's hoovering up a lot more of my time than I kind of wanted it to.
Adults are all waiting for us back at base. Let's hurry up and get the trump card.
We need to get the semi with the railgun in it, or whatever.
What do you think?
Maybe like some sort of like hypnotic,
There's no choice
I don't know, some sort of like sonic distribution device. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to talk about this week, and it seemed kind of perfect because, one, I'm not playing the game this week, so I thought I would have more. Why, just get another 100 bullets, huh? My topic for this week that I wanted to get around to, because I kind of had this on the back burner for like 4 weeks in a row, I just never really had the time for it, and fuck you, stealth section, was to talk about, I don't know if you'd really call it a push, but maybe, you know, the thought that's kind of getting into the mainstream space of the 4-day work week.
I think you mentioned something to me about this.
Because, the thing is, like, if I was going to get into this topic, like, I would kind of have to have it diverge into, like, 4 different directions. Because it's kind of like, as you would probably expect, a bunch of, like, intertwined things when talking about it. Because I think if you sat a lot of people down and, you know, on the workers' side, I think that there seems to be quite a few, like, benefits on the table for doing this. And, you know, obviously not just for, another sock story. Why are we constantly getting criticized by our socks? If you remain a virgin until you're married, young lady, you'll be a white sock? We're just getting criticized by our socks. Because Japan.
I wasn't entirely sure if the lasers would reach into that cove I was in.
Because I think the current plans for the 4-day work week, where like the test cases were, I don't remember the full thing, but I think it was like the 180-100, where it's like you do 100% of your workload in 80% of the time, and that's kind of that was kind of the original agreement. And I think people have been like sharing that there was this like big I think it was like a global test of like 100 different companies. I think that's the most recent case study for the companies that did it. And apparently it was a huge success, and productivity was up, and like obviously the workers were very happy with it. And I think it's honestly gonna be the next step for labor, because you know, I think it's just gonna have like currently visible objective benefits for both sides. I think the problem is that obviously the benefits are going to be more on our side than the corporate side. And the problem is that what I'll eventually get into is that the corporate side isn't going to fucking do it if it doesn't majorly benefit them. And I don't think that there's enough benefits on the table on their side for them to want to do it. And then honestly, I think that there's just going to be a lot of backlash to it, kind of similar to how they're trying to move away from WFH, but I don't know how well that's going to go, because there seems to be a lot of resistance towards the companies that are trying to do that. But we're kind of at an interesting time in general for labor anyway, so I don't know how it's going to go. But yeah, we should probably solve this puzzle. Okay, so we have move, paralyze, and link. We can hit that guy to... The problem is we can't get him over there without moving the shield guys.
Figured it out.
Oh, you're not gonna share with the class, huh? You already got it.
No, you're just gonna have to see if you can figure it out while I'm doing it.
I think it's gonna have to just do with paralyze. I just don't know how it's gonna have to do with paralyze. Oh wait, they're standing in a puddle, aren't they?
Nope. All of those guys are in water, and there's a trail of water right here. So if I set this guy here, like so...
You're gonna be the
I'll
liar.
link him, and then I step on the button, and then do that.
Oh, fair enough. That was a lot easier than I thought. Except I didn't solve it in time, so... So this is kind of the first segue into where this is going to go, is that obviously I think it's beneficial, and I think that some of the unseen benefits are going to be like, I think it's going to be huge for like entrepreneurship is the first thing that I think of, because if everyone has an additional day in the week, I think that those excuses of people saying, "Oh, I would do this or I would pursue this, but I don't have the time because I'm working all the time," would probably start going away, or at least going away more in fashion. And I think that would lead to just a general air of more innovation happening over time, because I think that would allow people more time to develop themselves and like invest in their crazy ideas. And I think it would generally just re-innovate kind of society in general, because you know I always think that that's kind of a huge handicap for a lot of people who have the crazy ideas, that they just don't have the time, or they have to like drop work entirely to focus on their ideas. And they probably would still have to do that, but maybe kind of just in lesser amounts, I guess. But the ultimate problem for this is that, one, like, corporations and government are not going to do this themselves. I think that's almost a guarantee. Like, they're just going to stick to the old ways and just keep to a minimum of 5 days, 40 hours. Because I don't think they really see a huge benefit for them doing it in the first place. And the problem right now is that labor just doesn't have the power to do much on its own. And labor is going to have to be the one who makes this happen and makes the noise to fix it. You have knockback, move, and link. So I'm guessing knockback has to do with the sphere boy. But what does the grenade guy have to do with this? What can we do with that guy?
Well, so I link.
Which side of the map do we get on? Is it the one with the green arrows?
Oh, so I enter here. This is where I enter. You can actually see us if you look carefully.
Yep, there we are.
But then, so I go around here, down here, and then I just have to like watch because this guy rotates. So I just have to watch to get by him. Then once I'm in this corner here, I can link a guy to the button.
Then we can hit the machine, which will cause all... Will it actually get the grenade boy, too?
Well, so the problem is I think I might have to link the bomb guy, believe it or not. I have to link because how you kill them is you knock the ball guy in a line, but they all have to be clumped up in a line, right? That's how you have to kill them.
No, if the hologram machine can get the bomb guy to move, then you basically have the puzzle solved. Then and there.
Yeah, you're right. The issue though is
what's with the other Monokuma? Why is he standing there?
This one right here?
No, the one just kind of standing in the clump. I wonder if that's gonna fuck up the plan.
I don't know. So the issue that I'm having is if I shoot this and they all get distracted.
Yes.
It pulls this guy off the button, doesn't it? And then I can't push the ball down because the wall's in the way.
What if you can link up to it again and maintain control of it while it's hologrammed? But then you obviously can't.
If I'm in control, then I can't knock back the ball guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, this one might be a bit touch and go. We'll try a couple different things.
Well, we can only try. Well, I guess you could try it again and again because you can just reload your checkpoint. If you really want to get the achievement.
So the plan is...
I mean, I don't want to distract you because this seems like it's going to be kind of a hard...
That guy with Link.
And your Link just falls on his ass.
Move him over to the button.
Hey, buddies, you want to go out drinking after work? It's going to be a great old time. Toko, get caught. If you get caught, that'll distract him long enough. Toko, they can see you.
Okay, and then I do this. Does that bring the bomb guy over? I only need it to bring the bomb guy over.
Apparently everyone else is too bored.
Yeah, so you have to look... Apparently they have to be looking directly at it to get pulled in by it. So then I do this.
Hopefully this will solve everything. And
hopefully the bomb kills everybody?
Oh, it did. And one of the Monokumas will reload so you can get out of here.
Well, I don't think I need to, because I don't need to go through the door. I need... Because there's this route.
Oh, fair enough. So getting back to the topic, because it's still going to be a lot to get through.
Well, I actually have things I want to say, but I'm about to go back into stealth shit, so I'm going to say it before we go back into stealth shit. One, the 40-hour work week used to not be a thing. We used to work only 4 days a week. It wasn't until Ford, the car company Ford,
yes,
lobbied for a 40-hour work week and made people sound lazy if they weren't doing that we ended up in a 40-hour work week the way we are now, 5 days a week. And yes, society as a whole would dynamically get better and healthier if we only worked 4 days a week instead of 5 days a week. So if we had a 32-hour work week, we'd all have that extra day, which we could spend stimulating the economy, pursuing art, like because you mentioned People's Project, that's pursuing art or science, development, industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, and here's the reason why I don't think that's going to happen, that diversifies the marketplace, right? If more people are being having ingenuity, there we go, and like coming up with new ideas and like new business models and things like that, suddenly there's more competition in the marketplace, which is healthy, but not in how our country wants it to be. The rich people in charge don't want competition, so they're not gonna know. Like, rich people are gonna prefer to I literally don't know.
I think this one's faster, which is a problem.
No, it's the same. It's the same one I've been going in and out of on this floor.
Is there 2 of them now? Is that no? There's only one. There's only one cylinder. Okay, that was bullshit. I mean, I do agree with you that that's definitely another major part in this whole deal, but I think that yeah, that would be a part of it, but I don't know if it would be so cut and dry, because I would imagine that a lot of the innovators would probably just be brought into the existing corporate structures, and they would just become part of the brand rather than making their own brands. Because I don't think it would always be a given that like people would develop their own skills and make their own efforts, and maybe just and by being I don't know, just led into it or wanting to join it, they would just become parts of the colossal behemoths we already have.
Maybe, but I don't know. Other countries do, on the other hand, I do want to point out, do have a 32-hour work week. And people are a lot healthier in those countries, just like innately. Mental health, fatigue, like they don't have as many issues with that stuff as we do, and that's because our 40-hour work week is designed to kind of be soul crushing, so that you work, you go home, and then you're too tired to do things that are fun.
Yep.
And so you basically do nothing but work and go home. And it makes it so you don't have the energy to protest. It makes it so it's all part of a thing to keep. I don't know. It's capitalism's garbage.
It's a system.
That's the short of it.
Well, I mean, that's gonna have to be a part of it too. Is that because
this one's not moving?
Because we're clearly not going to do it. Like, if other countries like specifically start doing it across the board, then I don't know. I would want to say that it would put pressure on the whole global system and make it more acceptable, but then the problem is that they deliberately don't want to accept it.
I would have to go look up how many in Europe currently have it.
I know that other countries are testing it. I just don't know if anybody has adopted it fully yet.
Oh no, there's several countries that have adopted it fully over in Europe.
So the main obstacle to doing this is labor power, and it's something that it's another thing that I wanted to get into, is that I don't really believe in it, but I do check the anti-work Reddit. I don't know if I'm going to consistently keep doing it, but basically I do it just to doom scroll through stupidity because I think it's kind of funny. Because
I love doom scrolling.
Because, like, here's the thing. The anti-work subreddit is not a movement anymore. Like, it's completely died off and it's completely directionless. And that's kind of the problem with the whole labor movement, is that right now it's trying to build up itself. And that's why you have all these union drives. But the problem is they're, like, comparatively to the whole system, they're very tiny union drives just trying to improve, like, at a business. Or, like, in a store right now. It's not a movement across the board because everyone's too focused in on comparatively their personal problems. And what's going to happen for this to go anywhere is that eventually, if there's enough drive, it's going to have to consolidate. And if it does manage to consolidate, then it does start gaining the ability to become a movement. Right now, it just doesn't have that there, because I think the problem with consolidating is that once the unions get together and start solving their shop's problems, I don't know if there's going to be the continued drive to continue trying to improve things across the board. They might just accept that the union done its job and then just leave it at that. Like, the store has a union, and that's kind of it.
Well, another issue with that is the fact that in certain industries, when the union starts to be able to pull enough stuff, the government steps in because, no, you can't stop, because, the whole fucking what happened with the railroad union. Like, the government literally put a stop to the railroad union strike.
Yeah, but...
Which directly causes the issues that are currently happening in Ohio, by the way, because one of the things that union was pushing for was the reinstatement of certain security measures that were put in under the Obama administration that got taken away during the Trump administration. One of which was any kind of train carrying certain kinds of chemicals had to have a certain kind of brake system that that it didn't have, that the one that tipped over and blew up in Ohio didn't have, and it would have if the union had won their strike and not been squashed by the government.
I mean, that's kind of the problem, is that they can do that now because there is no union power. Like, if labor did have some force behind it, then there would be an actual movement behind it. And they could do wildcat strikes because it would be too big to contain. Right now, it is small enough that they can contain it, especially if they don't continue pushing. Which I would imagine what happened with the railroad strikes is that it just didn't seem like it continued, because after that they just, like, even on Reddit, like, news about it just dropped off the face of the earth. So
to my knowledge, the government stepped in and literally made it like so that there'd be legal government action taken against anybody striking.
Yeah, but if the movement is too big, then they can do that, but I don't know if they would be able to fully contain it because it would be just too large.
And then when it comes to smaller companies right now, or like smaller union organizations, what ends up happening right now a lot of the times is, Starbucks, you're trying to open a union for the Starbucks workers. Well, we're just going to close down the Starbucks that has all of the people that are trying to unionize, and then we're just going to open a new Starbucks some other location. And that's what keeps happening for like Amazon employees and Starbucks employees that try to unionize their places, is their place of business just gets shut down and then the company opens a new one elsewhere.
Yeah, which is their ultimate trump card, and that's because it seems like that's the government, because, yes, those are blatantly illegal tactics, but the problem is there's no fucking stick to hit these companies over with, because the system was deliberately designed for that not to exist.
Right.
Because, yeah, even if they do get caught out, even if they do have the government body come in and tell you, no, this is illegal and you have to stop doing it, there's no actual repercussion that's meaningful to these companies for even if they do get caught doing it, like, in the legal system, because, again, the system is designed for there to be no repercussions.
Yep.
So that's why I say that labor is going to have to, if labor wants this, then it's going to have to do it on its own. And I do say all these things, like, bottom line, I personally don't think, and I know that I have a lot of years to see this happen, I still don't think that this is going to happen in any meaningful way in my working life. Like, I'm fully willing to accept that this isn't going to happen in, like, the next 40 years. Because I think that we're too much on the back foot. And that's why, like, for this to happen at all, we'd have to go through, like, all the steps for labor to have any sort of influence. And it seems like we're like at step like -12 or 15. We're so far backwards that even though it's the organizations are starting, we're so far backwards that I seriously don't think it's going to happen. But for the people who do want it to happen, like, you have to understand that it's going to have to start here on the bottom level, and you're going to have to do it, because no one's going to do it for you on this one.
I mean,
and
I think I think it's the ball is starting to get rolled, in the sense that, like, more and more companies of people are trying to unionize, getting shut down, and eventually what will happen is it'll be happening too frequently to, like, because I feel like it's becoming more and more frequent that a Starbucks closes down because the workers are unionizing, like, things like that. So, like, what happens once too many Starbuckses at the same time are trying to unionize and they have to shut down all of them, right? So if they keep at it and just keep trying over and over and over again, eventually the mentality, like, what the companies are trying to do with the whole, like, shut down, move location, like, eventually that won't work anymore, because they'll have to just constantly be shutting everything down to the point where they can't stay in business. And when that happens, then I think, more power will happen, and
we'll have to
see. But
this is the good thing about the initial push versus the follow-up pushes is that if I think at this point, yes, Starbucks has a union somewhere. Somewhere has a Starbucks union. And what you can have there is that once the initial one is set up, is that you can, I think basically, I don't know how it works just because I haven't seen this part of it really in action, but basically I think that at that point you can basically franchise out the union, where it's the union exists and you can just be branch 12 of the union for that shop and for that place. Because that's what trade unions do, is that they just basically have VFW numbers, where you're branch 582 of the pipe workers union or whatever.
Yep, of the plumbers union and stuff like that.
So
I work with union employees. I'm not union because I'm an office worker, and there really aren't any office worker unions in the United States. There are in other countries.
Where was I going with this? No, that was my whole point. But I think the ultimate thing that really annoys me is that as a left-leaning person, I do get very, very irritated with the third fiddle fucking internet leftist, because it seems like they don't, well, obviously they have no idea what they're talking about, because I'm pretty sure these are either early 20-somethings or pre-20-somethings just bitching into the void and not really understanding how things work. And the thing that really annoys me are the people who are oh my god, how long is America gonna take all this bullshit? Why can't we strike like the French? Why is everything shit and we're just taking it? And the thing that I want to sit down and slap them in the face with is that, one, the French striked like they did because the people that started the strikes were the French's largest unions. You want to know how you get large unions? It's because labor consolidated and they had a common goal to work against. That's how that happened. We don't have that in America. We have to start doing that because it doesn't exist. And because it doesn't exist, we can't do that.
We have to stack our blocks before we have the big pieces.
And that's what really fucking annoys me, is that, yes, that's why I've been constantly saying is that we're way far behind in the line. And that's because the system fucked us. We had a labor drive, and then it got completely fucked by the system. And then we lost then labor lost all of its power, so now we have to start over again.
A lot of the loss of the U.S. labor, union stuff came during the Reagan administration in the 80s.
I will say, for anyone who's actually interested in labor, the thing that I didn't know about, just to add it to your vocabulary, go look up what a strike fund is on Wikipedia. Because for any of this to work, strike funds are going to have to come into the general vocabulary. And I don't think people really know what a strike fund is, which seems to be basically a a self-administered insurance bucket for unions, which it seems like I don't know specifically how it works, but from how it sounds, I think basically unions collect some money from their dues or from their members in some other way to basically just pile up a bunch of money in the instance that they would need to go on strike, and then they can draw from that money to pay their people while they're not working.
Right, which right now there's a difficulty to that, and the fact that we don't have a lot of industries just don't have unions, and they need to strike sooner than later to get fair treatment. Let's look at the Starbucks, for example, right? Starbucks is going to go on strike, but they don't have a large enough they've never had a large enough union where those funds exist yet. So when they're striking, they are starving themselves striking because they have yet to have built that fund. But because they can't establish that union without their businesses, the places they work at, getting shut down, and union busters coming in and breaking everything down, they can't build that base to have that money when to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is like in order to strike to get or in order to strengthen a strike, I should say, because you could still strike, it'd just be a lot more difficult. But in order to strengthen a strike so that it could last a very long period of time, you'd need that cushion. But in order to have that cushion, you have to have had a union that has existed for a long time to stockpile that resource. And we don't have those unions in places that have been here long enough to stockpile that resource.
So I don't know how much I got left in the plot, because I think I've basically talked about most of the stuff in the whole 4-day thing that I wanted to get to. Is because as you would imagine with something that's such like a baseline part of the system that we live in, the whole capitalist system, is that it's gonna basically probably affect everything in society. And ironically, like, even though the Republicans are just as willing to do radical, nonsensical things as the leftists, I don't think we can just put this in place. Oh wait, I did remember another thing I wanted to add to this, is that even if this does come into play in like a significant way, like this actually hits legislation somehow, even if it gets to the door, even if it gets put on the table, just look forward to basically the legislation getting carved up to shit, because literally, if this does get on the table, anyone who even remotely asks for an exemption is probably going to get it. Like, you are going to have the same number of industries, the same number of companies getting the same exemptions from the 40-hour work week examples. Probably not the... Maybe... I want to say not the overtime thing, but everyone gets overtime exemptions anyway from the number of times people bitch about it.
Mm-hmm.
That, like... It's just, like, in that sense of the word, society is not going to change, because the same exemptions are basically just going to be ported over to this other law, and those industries are unfortunately not going to change.
I was going to say, the way I see it, change isn't going to happen until a large subsect of the Republican voters eventually die out from old age, which is kind of happening.
Well, it's always going to be happening. Like eventually we're going to see the last of the baby boomers.
Right. So for a long time, there was a trend of the older a person was, the more likely they were to vote Republican. But that trend is curbing, because as millennials are getting over, they're actually becoming more left. And so, like, they're the ones curbing that line. That's been happening for, like, a long period of history now. And it's because, yeah, we're at a point again where society is like, wage disparity is at an all-time high. Like, there's a growing underclass that literally feels powerless, and the government's not doing anything for them. So the only people they can vote for are more and more left people who are like them. And if we don't, the problem is we don't have enough of those liberals in the government at the moment, because right now our government is very much a crazy, ridiculously far-right Republican Party, and then the Democratic Party is filled with mostly still right-leaning as far as global politics are concerned politicians.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the same thing, because I do hear that European, like, let's just say several Europeans I've heard ask the question is like, hey, don't you have a left party that could argue for you? And it's like, no, it doesn't exist. Or it does exist, but it exists in a way where it's completely ineffectual.
It's slowly being reformed. So the older Democrats are, as far as global politics are concerned, mostly, almost all, with exceptions like Bernie Sanders, actually right-leaning,
yes,
like, as far as global politics are concerned. The younger ones who are getting elected, people like AOC and stuff, are left-leaning. And it's because the younger generation, as we get older, are putting our voting power behind those people. But the problem is the older Democrats are still voting for the right-leaning Democrats who are, quote-unquote, where the whole concept of do-nothing Democrats come from. Like, that group of Democrats, of do-nothing Democrats, that's the older Democrats. And so, essentially what has happened, slowly, is happening, is more and more, as more and more young people get involved, what they're doing is they're turning the Democratic Party into a true left party instead of what it has been for a long time. The problem is, though, is it hasn't fully transitioned that whole party to that, which is why we still have Democrats voting in favor of big corporations and shit, and like putting a stop to shit that would help the poor and hurt the wealthy. Right? You still have them voting in favor of letting Wall Street get away with shit, and like voting in favor of things that essentially allow the wealthy to insider trade. And part of that's because literally our senators are insider
they're doing
trading.
The same thing. Like
so it's actively they're voting in their own self-interest instead of the interest of the nation, which is another thing because they tried voting on it a while ago where like it would prevent if you were an elected official you couldn't have stakes in large companies and stuff. Was like a thing that tried getting passed like last year, and it failed because the only people who voted in favor of it were the younger Democrats.
Surprise, motherfucking surprise.
Right. The older Democrats voted against it along with every Republican. The biggest thing, and the thing that scares me, and this is not about labor so much anymore as of the fact that, like, while the Democratic Party is slowly shifting to where we want it to be, the Republican Party is rapidly shifting to extreme far right. With the MAGA Republicans getting voted in droves, it feels like, or at least older Republicans falling in, like, out of fear of the MAGA Republicans in their own base, switching their politics to be more and more far right.
Yeah, I don't know if that's honestly gonna stick, because it's probably gonna stick for a good while now. But the problem with the far right, I don't know what it says on paper, but I think an argument has been made that the MAGA side has been starting to lose their elections. And they haven't been getting where they thought they were going to get. So I think basically they're just going to eventually get naturally phased out in a significant number, I'll say.
Yeah, so they're currently kind of going for broke. Right?
Yes.
The goal is to claim conspiracy after conspiracy, bullshit after bullshit, that X thing's rigged every single time they lose, in the hopes that eventually they can stir their base into literally a coup d'etat. In which case, we go from being a democracy to a fascist state. Like, that's essentially their goal. Because that's the only way they can stay in power. And they need to rile up the dumb half of their base to join the actually 100% evil side of their base to be together. And I mean, we've already seen it, and like the rise in mass shootings and all of this stuff based on the conspiracies the far right have spewed, like the fact that, you know, gay bars are being shot up, armed militias are showing up to any like drag event, it's kind of working, and it's kind of a scary spot to be in currently, where, you know, the bomb hasn't gone off, but it feels like the fuse is lit and the bomb could go off at any moment. And we'll just have to see, because the 2024 presidential election is likely gonna be
I don't even know I don't even know who's gonna be their guy, because I mean,
well, so
I think it's probably just gonna be most likely DeSantis, because they don't really have another person to go with.
Yes, the party's gonna try to throw its weight behind DeSantis. The problem is the party's gonna want to do that. Their base is gonna try to rally behind Trump again, or at least a large portion of it. And if Trump doesn't play ball with the party, it could end up splitting them.
Yeah, which is the hilarious thing, because every
which
time
is the hope and the knock on wood, because I don't like saying it, because I fear like if I get my hopes up, it's not going to happen.
Well, that's the hilarious thing, and if they don't plan for that, if they don't try to like quash him going third party, they're fucked. Because every time that's happened, the other side has won, because, like you said, they just split the vote. Right.
And so that's what we gotta hope happens, is that the MAGA Republicans have gotten themselves in too deep of an extreme that like the crazy absolute moronish ones end up splitting off from the like truly like calculating like ones that are like they know what they're doing is evil and they don't care. Like the ones that know LGBT people, like trans people, aren't actually indoctrinating kids but don't care because it's an easy scapegoat to try to push like the dumb people on. If those people end up split from the dumb people, they lose. And that's the hope.
I mean, I'm sure that's the Democrats' hope, at least.
Well, I mean, that's just the hope in general. But yeah, and then the other thing with that is also the more time goes on, the more younger people.
Well, it's going to happen no matter what.
Are going to be a voting age. And they're going to vote in droves for left-leaning people more so than right-leaning. Which is why things have come up already in certain states, and certain Republicans have actively started to say that, hey, 18 shouldn't be the voting age. Like, that's an active thing that Republicans have been saying. They're not gonna get it done anytime soon.
Well, because
that's not gonna get changed anytime soon.
Well, the problem with that is that I believe it's an amendment, and trying to re-amend that's going to be virtually impossible.
Right. As long as Democrats control some form of the government, they're not going to be able to do it.
Well, the thing I was going to say was the reason. I don't know if it's the whole reason, but a big reason why 18 was the voting age was the military, and I believe that was because. I don't know if it was around the 70s, but if it was clearly the Vietnam that did that, but it might have even been earlier than that, maybe the Korean War, because I think a big argument for that is like, hey, we're allowed to literally fight for our country, why the fuck aren't we able to vote for it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was the big argument for why 18 was selected.
That is, I believe, yeah, the why 18 is selected. But yeah, so there's a number of things that Republicans are attacking or like every now and again raising their voice about or getting all uppity about. One of which is the voting age right now, because young people are voting in droves for the left. The other one is college campuses are indoctrinating, right? Higher education is indoctrinating people, right? That's a concept they throw around a lot. And the reason for that, again, is they want people to believe that kids are getting brainwashed, and not that smart people are just more likely to vote.
Well,
left.
I mean, if you look at it in their perspective, you can clearly see why they think that, because, like, your college years are basically the most, I don't know how to describe it, like, the most, I guess, most likely time in your life that you're basically going to go woke is because, basically, you just get exposed to a lot of higher learning and more perspectives. And I think that young people are... I don't know if it's more likely, like, just like objectively, but I mean, the argument has been, like, using one of their arguments is like young college students are more likely to get liberal.
Well, so that's because then this is just a thing. The more well-read and more well-traveled you are, the more likely you are to be liberal, and that the reason for that is because realizing life is larger than just you makes you understand, like, hey, we need to vote for things that aren't going to just help me, but also help everyone. So that's why you end up with white people who vote in favor of things that aren't going to benefit them, but will benefit, minority groups and things like that, is because you get more perspective. And yeah, college campuses are a melting pot of perspective, so you get more perspective. And also during those young years, that same time period, it's kind of time where you can like travel the world a lot easier as part of school a lot of the times, but you can travel outside of the US and then gain perspective from other cultures and other societies and start to see things from other perspectives there too. And all that.
So, yeah, I think I covered basically the whole thing about the 4-day work week. I think that, like most people, I'm obviously in favor, but basically we have a very, very, very long road before we get even close to it. But, I mean, considering how, like, society has been going for the last, like, 20 years, it might be accelerated, but I'm not gonna bet on that. Because, like, I could imagine society looking completely fucking different in the next 40 years. Just because, you know, digital technology kinda accelerates progress in general, I guess would be a good argument to make.
Yeah.
What are we trying to detect here?
So the guy who knows the password to shut off the security lasers is dead on the floor right there, and we have to figure out what the password is.
It's a birthday card and
I guess
a
I can only
computer
examine
password.
the computer right now.
So it's 4 digits, which might be a birthday.
Hey.
We gotta shut down that entire, like, 45-degree laser grid. Because apparently...
So right now, on the floor we're currently on, the lasers aren't moving, and they're all pointed at the elevator.
Yes. Is there a date behind all that blood? Where that guy apparently got shot?
My guess is if we open up that frame and look at the back of the photo, there's a date.
Let's just
use... It wouldn't let me look at... There's a yellow notepad on the right side, and that picture on the left side. It wouldn't let me look at either of those two things separately, so I figured I have to look at the computer first to, like, proc my ability to look at those things.
Yeah, just setting the flag. Just setting the flag.
What's going on?
Why are you... Oh, he's calling Haiji a punk. I was like,
Yeah,
Kamaru is the opposite of a punk. Yep, flag the puzzle. Okay, 69-8.
So cruel.
Also, one of the rare times the blood is red.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I think that's probably like the second or third time it's happened in this franchise. Maybe like the 4th time. We know! We fucking know! Well, you can write down your passwords because your passwords are more likely to be stolen by cyber criminals. That's why you can write down your password.
Yeah.
I mean, you also shouldn't make it, like, 4 numbers long, because that's really dumb. Okay, shoot the picture. How about pick it up, turn it around, smash it with your megaphone? Haiji's got something to say.
Hold on, there's something else here on the body.
What, did he get stabbed in the stomach? From the picture, I thought he got shot in the head. Do we have a calendar? Was he literally writing that note as he died?
Anyways.
Toko has no soul. We searched through 2 things. We couldn't find the answer. 69, 58.
Well,
I'm glad Haiji literally had nothing to say.
I mean, the problem is 69, other than a year, doesn't work as... With his son is not going to be born in 1969, so, like... There shouldn't be a 69 involved with a birthday.
Maybe this guy is just very stupid. Let's go see what Haiji has to say. Maybe he has something of value to actually add. Do you
want a hint? Yes.
Haiji, that's not a hint. Oh my god.
You're right.
Haiji, I thought you were a CEO. How can you be this stupid?
This is not funny at all.
I'm liberal arts to the core. All right.
I don't have the ability to think. Stop pestering me. I don't know what math is. Like, all it did was got blood on the frame. How about you take the picture out of the frame? Kamara, I know you're stupid, but are you this stupid? What was the hint? They were saying like they were assuming like the first day of the month was like the first Monday.
Well, so they're saying if the birthday falls on the third Saturday of the month, it can't be like within the first 7 days, the first 14 days, because if it's the third Saturday of the month.
So are they assuming that the number they're missing is a 1?
Well, no, just that the number can't, whatever the date is, it can't be.
I don't know how it starts with 69 though. It's kind of the problem.
Right?
Is it up? Like, my brain is like, is it upside down? But the words aren't upside down, so I don't know how it would be upside down.
Well, but upside down doesn't even work either, because...
Oh yeah, then it would start with 8.
Then it'd be, well, you still have a 90, then it'd be 96.
Okay, Haiji, just give us the answer, you cunt.
Yeah, if I talk to him again, will I get another hint or the same hint?
I mean, at least we're not losing any of our Chuck E. Cheese tickets.
Okay, now think, why is there a star around the 69 in the photograph?
I don't know. Why? What?
Something other than just the number.
I mean, it's a year?
Well, but a year is also just a number, so what would a 69 be other than...
A joke?
Maybe it's just weird eyes? Like, a weird face drawn inside the star with, like, swirly weird eyes that aren't actually a 6 and a 9?
Is it supposed to be like letters? G-E?
Oh, wait, what's that on the wall there?
Oh, it's definitely horoscopes.
Oh, damn it! We've been fucked by the goddamn zodiac again! 69 is the fucking sign for Pisces. Or, I think it's Pisces. I have to look it up.
Well, if we assume that that's supposed to be a clock. But how is that...
Well, no, don't think of it as a clock. These are just all the zodiac symbols. So which one is the fucking... Because they're tied to a time of year. Each one is naturally just tied to a month and a day.
I don't remember. Like, the problem...
69 is, I want to say... it's Pisces.
Sagittarius, I think, is the end of December, so that would flip over to January.
Okay, no, it's not. It's not the Pisces one.
How can it not be the Pisces one? It has to be. Nothing else on that monitor makes sense.
Okay, hold on. I'm pulling up the wheel. Okay, 69 is Cancer. Ha, that's kind of...
Oh,
the
yeah.
internet probably has a field day with that one.
Which one is Pisces?
And Cancer is June to July. So if you're a Cancer, you were born between June 22nd and July 22nd. So we have it narrowed down.
Why the fuck would you write that on a happy birthday card? We know you love your...
You must be really into Zodiac. But yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that... They should have made this something you have to interact with, because had I not just happened to glance up at it and be like, oh, hey, that's a thing. Because, like, look, my screen's like this, and I'm doing this around the room. I'm never going to see it. You have to pan the camera up to see it. So, like, I kind of wish when you interacted with something, it would... It'd be an interactive. Okay, so it's not a. So the 69 is the Pisces or the Cancer symbol, which is June to July. So we have.
Oh, and it's the third Saturday, which means it literally has to be July. No, wait.
Well, because it's June 22nd to
No,
July 22nd.
yeah. It starts at the end of the month, so it is June.
Well, what the fuck's the 8 now?
Try all the. Well, it has to be 2, doesn't it? Because it's either 1 or 2.
Yeah. Third Saturday of the month. It would be July.
Oh yeah, it can't be
18th,
2 because 28th is too close to the end of the month.
Yeah, so it has
So
to
it's
be July
0618.
18th.
You're right.
So-
We got fucked by a double goddamn zodiac puzzle.
So we thought it was. So if it's July,
It's
July
0618.
18th. No, July 18th. Because he can't. If he was born June, 18th, he wouldn't be a Cancer.
No, he would
Cancer
because
doesn't-
it like horoscopes like end around like the 20th of the month or the 25th of the month.
Well, so horoscopes start around the 21st or 22nd and go to the following month's 22nd or 21st. Cancer specifically starts June 22nd. So if he's a Cancer, he's born between June 22nd and July 22nd. So if it's 18, it's too early to be June for a Cancer. So he has to be July 18th, which would be 0718.
And assuming that the maximum amount of time he has from the beginning of the month means that it'd be like the 21st or something. And anything would be like, I mean, I guess
Did we get it right?
Well, I mean, you got it right.
Okay. God, that's so dumb. This is the second time we've been stumped on a puzzle for stupid long, like an extra long amount of time because there was a zodiac element to it. Now, given this time the zodiac element mattered, and in the other game the zodiac
No, it
was a red herring.
The Zodiac was the red herring.
The zodiac was the red herring in the other one. This one, the zodiac mattered.
Yep.
Because it had to do with just how many legs the animals had.
Well, that's the dumbest puzzle ever. It's like 69. It's Cancer sideways.
Oh yeah, that is the. Yeah, it is kind of the Cancer symbol sideways.
That was so fucking stupid.
A while ago. No.
We could say that puzzle was Cancer.
So bad. That joke made me want to die.
I knew I could count on you.
Shut up, Haiji. I want to fucking give you a swirly at this point.
I was gonna say
He also likes you too much.
I also don't like him because he implied he was a pedophile.
Yes, even jokingly, it's a pretty bad joke.
Right?
Hey, I'm a pedophile. Haha. It's like, dude. Not cool. Hey, it's us. Slowpoke Amaru.
So, Pokemaru.
Can that be my Slowpoke's name? It's 11 characters.
Pokemaru. Yeah, you can probably put that into a Pokemon game. Slowpoke Kamaru.
I'm gonna remember that. That's so dumb. What do you... that's actually true. We are a mass-produced demon.
A typical mass-produced demon that isn't unique in any way other than that it's below average in a lot of stuff.
It's a perfect item to give new bullshit.
It's a perfect demon to try new stuff on. So even the kids find us to be too average.
We read your biography, Kamaru. It's literally 2 sentences long.
Hope's almost in our hands.
Why do you have a giant gyroscope full of Monokumas?
Oh, it's weird.
It has a Monokuma pattern on
There's
it.
sparklies on it.
How did it get on a swirly thing? Monica is trying to look adorable.
I'm trying to look inside of it. I want to see if there's anything cool inside of it other than just Monokumas. It just looks like it's Monokumas.
I think the Monokumas are like the pattern on the inside of the ball. It's like a
Maybe.
It's like a
I thought the
kaleidoscope.
idea is that they're all being assembled on these lines, and then once they're fully assembled, they're like being put into that. Or maybe, because like you have the heads and the bodies heading towards the machine, and then you have the arms and the legs heading towards the machine. So maybe that machine's like assembling them inside of it somehow. I don't know. That's
a really quirky invention.
It's a weird one.
The other topic I had available for today, it was actually a gaming one, so it's not all that much, was that, like, apparently right now, because of the economic times, a lot of live services are dying off. And it seems like their genre might actually be on the way to collapsing. So that's nice. You know, I think currently around this time, like, a dozen live services around, like, the next 3 months got announced for being canceled. And
gotcha.
And more hilariously, a lot of them didn't even make it to like a full year. Like in development, I guess. So he has a secret he's keeping from all the other, something I can't tell anybody else. Okay. I'm in debt to my... I mean, I wouldn't say you're in debt to your parents, considering what they did to you, buddy. Because what we thought about this kid was correct. Like, we thought at the beginning of this guy's story that he was like... He was basically like that trope of kid who was pushed into being an overachiever. But it got even more fucked up than that, because they did that... But then they pushed it, like, farther than that, because they also put him on, like, drugs to, like, supercharge his overachievingness.
Yeah, essentially he was on Adderall, so, like, he couldn't not do anything other than focus. Oh, hey, look!
That's... what are those
Easter
things?
egg! Those are Sony mascots.
Huh. It's just the Monokuma maker. For the first time, Monokuma's in 3... I mean, that's true, he's in 3D. That's also literally one half of a robot.
But yeah, those are Sony mascots, if I recall correctly. Because I believe they are playable in one of the versions of... Street Fighter Cross Tekken. There we go, that's the game.
Yeah, you gotta look into your catalog of the 150 fighting games you know exist.
Well, yeah, but, like, Street Fighter Cross Tekken's, like, one of the most, like, infamous, because on this DLC and, like, a bunch of crappy shit.
We need to buy erotically, obviously. But what about erotically? We need to close the circle on this horrible sex stuff that this game has.
Erotically increases the speed of the bullet.
It goes really, really fast.
You do want to buy endlessly.
If you want to get through all the sex all at once. Yep, we did it. Now we can turn this into a terrible trilogy. We've done it. We've one-upped Disney Star Wars.
I was gonna say battery efficiency is what I want to buy.
I mean, it's gonna be kind of ironic in the future for this episode if Star Wars is actually sold by Disney to recoup their fucking losses, because they haven't been having a good year.
What, Disney as a whole hasn't been having a good year?
Yeah, apparently even their animated movies haven't been doing all that well.
We've come this far, but this is just too suspicious.
So are we just like assuming that somehow the kids set up an arena in the guy's factory?
Be careful. So,
why did you build a boss arena down here, Haiji, you fucking idiot? Oh wait, no, the social studies kid probably got around Haiji, figured out he had a trump card, now he's gonna use it against us.
What is Haiji pointing out?
I built a giant Lolicon robot.
He's the only one that doesn't look scared.
Is it just a giant Monokuma?
It is indeed just a giant Monokuma.
Haiji, do you have any creativity? Also, why are you building Monokuma droids? Are you like, I can never remember Bitch Face's fucking name.
The last hope for us adults.
This Monokuma is the last hope.
It's the biggest thing on the island. Why is Haiji going crazy?
That was built by Toa Group in case we ever needed to defend.
And you didn't use it?
why did you shape it in the fact? Well, I believe they mentioned why they couldn't use it before, because the place got overrun before they could activate it or something, which is why we had to come back here or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but
why wasn't this like first priority? Why did you sit at the shelter all this time, and even was going to continue sitting in the shelter before we pestered you to do this? Well, you're calling it the Big Bang, Monokuma.
Because in his mind, he couldn't get past the security system of this building without...
You mean that security system? The fucked up one that was really stupid?
Yeah, that kept so many Monokumas.
Oh my god, Haiji, you are the... Can we just say Haiji is the worst character? Can we put him in the bottom 5?
Yeah, I'll put Haiji in the bottom 5. I don't like him at all, so...
Well, the thing that's really getting to me about him is that he's just blatantly incompetent in everything.
Why did Toad Group make such a thing?
We needed to defend this. I literally just told you that.
Yeah, okay, but why make it in the shape of a Monokuma?
Well, if I built a giant Lollicon, people would think I was a weirdo. That was the only 2 ideas I had. I was arguing to make a giant robot teenage girl, and everyone thought I was crazy. So we built this instead.
If I were behind it all, why would I make Monokuma break my
Because it's the ultimate cover, obviously.
The Monokumas that are built here were supposed to be introduced to the world as made robots.
Why?
Shaped again.
That makes no sense! Why don't you just do the fucking Beyond Detroit thing and just make human robots then?
What way would this giant thing be a maid exactly?
Or, you know, just not make the Monokumas, the thing that's the symbol of the shit that destroyed the world.
Yes. We were trying to reclaim the brand.
Literally, pick a different animal. Like, Monami's a rabbit. Do a Monami.
Yeah, but Motomi's annoying as hell.
I mean,
She's
my point is
awful.
at least Monami's an example of a different robot-ish thing. She's not a robot, she's a computer program, but, like, she's not made to look exactly like Monokuma until Monokuma remakes her in his image.
Why don't you just
Because
make...
her normal form is one color, it doesn't have the weird Monokuma belly, and it's a rabbit. So when you first meet her as Azumi, she's just a magical girl rabbit. Monokuma remakes her to be the half-pink, half-white, Monokuma-looking rabbit.
Well, Haiji, why don't you just make fucking robot dogs? That would be infinitely better. Instead of the robot bear of evil.
Don't blame me, I didn't pick the design.
What?
Who developed them chose that on their own.
Why would you allow that? That's so stupid.
Excuse for dodging responsibility. Typical.
So, okay, whose decision was it to make him like a Monokuma?
Well, clearly Bitchface somehow hacked the group and snuck her design in.
They were being made before Haji was even involved, because he just said that he wasn't even aware of it when it first started.
Oh, so he's not incompetent, he's just incompetent.
Well, you gotta remember, like, he's not even the guy in charge of this company before shit went haywire. He's the son of the guy who was in charge of this company when shit went haywire in the city.
So was he just being a biker dude and he wasn't being, like, groomed to be the next CEO?
I mean, he's probably, but no, seeing how he acts, my guess is he didn't necessarily have interest in being much of a leader.
Oh no, who would have thought that someone would steal our giant mech? Also, how did a robot just break through 4 layers of this building?
Yeah, we are in the sub-4 basement.
Apparently it's Edgelord bot. Sage robot Hannibal Z? So why is Social Studies Boy's robot super edgy?
I don't know. I find it weird that it's not a Sage.
What is this?
Cause, like, weren't all the robots designed after what they were? Like, the first guy's was like a knight robot. The second guy's was like a bishop robot. I don't remember what the third robot looked like exactly.
I can't remember either. Like those,
but like
those bosses,
but
like
sniper.
Yeah,
well,
I thought
what the first two looked like.
I thought he had a rail gun, but I think that's a sniper rifle or a giant shotgun.
Yeah, it looks like a sniper rifle or a shotgun or like a hybrid of them. But like, the thing that's weird to me is I'm almost positive all of them looked like what their quote-unquote role was.
Well, you see that's a magic.
that's not a sage, and his role is sage.
See, that's a magic wand. It's just really big.
That kid. He's the one who wanted to let us.
He's also the one who talked to you for like an hour. And also brainwashed, apparently.
Demons.
Yeah, presumably Monica did something to him.
He's super zonked out.
Something like this.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Monica started, like, actively molesting him.
Yeah,
That happened last episode.
Yeah, they kissed, which was odd.
But no, she was like promising that, like, to have sex with him and shit. And
That
like
too.
he was trying to say no, and she was just like grabbing at him and shit. And I was like, oh god.
Let me guess. Did she tell you about this? If she can't control it, she wants you to destroy it?
Well,
I won't
obviously.
let it happen. This is the hope we finally
Yeah,
got.
Haiji's definitely gonna be able to do that with his one arm.
So you know how adults are responsible to everything that happened to the kids?
Yes.
Do you think Haiji might be the adult responsible for Monica?
I mean, that'd be kind of a long shot, but sure.
But we have, he likes them young. Like, that's a line he said.
Yeah, but I
Like,
mean, is it gonna
what
tie
if
into? Is it gonna tie into
don't-
anything important?
But he's referring to that there's some she that's connected to the kids that knows about this trump card and sent him here. But if she knows about this trump card, is she involved with Haiji?
Possibly. I don't know if they're gonna close that loop.
We'll have to see.
Paradise. With something like this, I won't let you. Everyone expects so much of the Warriors of Hope. And of me. To meet these expectations, I have to build paradise all by myself.
Well, his mind's breaking apart.
More of me.
Yeah.
I'll work harder. I'll do it. Anything. Just please don't abandon me. Father. Mother.
Oh, Junko was her name.
Monica. More.
I keep forgetting her name because her name is Junk.
More from me.
What's wrong with him? He's batshit crazy.
Well, this is the first one the Haiji's met, so that makes sense.
Because out of all of the Warriors of Hope,
I have the greatest portfolio.
He's apparently the best one at controlling these robots.
Do we have like an arena to work with, or are we just stuck on this platform?
Not visually, no. Visually, there is not an arena currently.
It's bad.
My guess is we're gonna have to do like a run away from the sniper game, and then we're eventually gonna end up in the.
That is a really big shotgun because it's like exploding.
or not. Anyone who gets in the way of paradise, will defeat each and every.
Is it just attacking like the room itself?
Give me high expectations.
Yeah, I think so.
More of me. More. Please expect the best from me.
He's just breaking down mentally and
Yeah,
firing kind of all around the room.
What do we do? Should we just run?
that's literally our only option.
Haiji said the big Monokuma is the last hope for everyone back at the base. If we run now, that Monokuma's gonna be.
Well, I don't mean run away. I mean just like run around the corner.
Are you actually going to protect that?
Well, we kind of have to. Like it is our only option, Toko.
Then again, maybe we have to fight. Huh?
What do you mean have to?
Someone's speech actually influenced me a little. Someone like me.
Whose speech? Haiji's? Nagito's?
No,
Look how far we've
no. Our speech. We made a speech. Remember, we got on top of the thing and gave that speech about to all the people in the at the adult base.
The one we were begging for help.
You're right.
Yeah.
Nope.
But we were essentially part of the gist of that speech was, hey, you have to fight even if you don't want to, because things aren't gonna get better unless you face them.
Okay, the robot's just gonna stand there and make itself a giant or now he's gonna be up there.
She'll listen to me.
So, how good are you at Metal Gear Solid?
We'll be creators of paradise.
I mean, I know the boss fights in this game haven't been all that. What the fuck? Are you serious?
Well, okay, so it takes aim at me. Ow, that was dumb.
Yeah. But you probably shouldn't use the low cover unless you can crouch.
More effort than
There.
What was it trying to shoot at there?
I don't know if it's shooting randomly because then it has to reload. It's reloading, and then when it's reloading, I aim for the eye, and then
This is the... I don't know if this is the worst one, but this boss fight is pretty bad.
I mean, they're all pretty easy.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is.
Oh, that one's on... Oh, come on! You can't just shoot directly down.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's bullshit difficulty. That's great. I think we talked about this in Boss Fight 1, but I'm not really a big fan of boss fights that don't have health bars. Because I'd like to know what my progress is. What is it? Why does everyone have that line? Don't mess with me. Why does it take like a whole fucking 30 seconds to reload? Or like 10 seconds? No, it has no face!
Hold on, I'm using some of this bar so that I can dodge its bullshit.
Oh, you have to do the shooting gallery thing.
Ow, what?
And now it has grenades. You can't stop me. I've got all the grenades in my ass.
Cool.
At least you hit it. We removed a dimension to make it even easier. I'm the best at controlling my robots when they have a 15-second reload timer.
Garbage.
I mean, you might as well just, like, wait for that reload. Because, like, it's insanely vulnerable. You fell for my incredible grenade trap. Also, I'm literally exploding, apparently.
Oh, it was dying. Okay, that's what that was.
Who hit it? Did it hit itself?
No, so I think I killed it in the window, and what it does when it dies is it jumps to the center and does a big, like, last gambit to kill you attack. Which was all the bombs that went off around it.
Well, he's screwed. What? Okay, its feet are collapsing under its own weight. What?
That was its arm that fell. Also, he might be the first kid to die. Because
I thought that was his leg.
Them. No, the arm had the skull shoulder pad, so it had to be the
arm.
It
wasn't that hard, Toko. I know you had to do a little bit of running around, but he got nuked. Seriously. He's probably a charred corpse at this point. Hygie, I hate you. Yeah, it's almost like you should have said that after your last grand joke.
If we save this crazy-ass kid, he'll just end up doing the same thing again.
What are you talking about? He's dead.
We can't save him even if we wanted to.
Well, Kamara said we have to try to save him if he's like buried under rubble or something.
Did no one know about the explosion?
We finally got it. The hope. We finally got our hope.
That's definitely not going to be the final boss or anything.
Maybe it'll fight something equal to its size.
That's right.
It'll fight the dirigible that transforms into a Power Ranger monster.
Don't worry. You aren't driving this time. You wouldn't be able to anyway. The only ones who can control this are me and my old man.
And somehow the controls are too complex for you, but not for me, the one-armed man.
No, apparently it takes a bioscanner of some kind to prove that he's related to the guy who made it, which is his dad.
What are we even counterattacking at this point? Are we just gonna, like, level the city?
No, we're going to their headquarters. Remember, we know where their headquarters are now, because Nagito told us the headquarters.
Do you think Nagito knows this exists?
I don't know exactly if he knew if this exists, but I remember his goal is to use specifically Toko and I.
Oh, now we get to see Monika's final plan, as she has a blood chair.
Yeah, Monika's in a new room than normal. There's a bunch of torture.
Yeah, but
shit in the room.
There's a lot of char everywhere.
Yeah, there's like a guillotine. I think it's rust, is what I think it is. Not char.
Well, I mean, she did kind of set him up to fail. So what is her plan?
I don't know yet.
What's with the claw marks? Was she torturing people with Monokumas?
Now come on over here. Let's open the gates of hell.
Okay, so Monica was Junko Jr.?
So,
The climax is gonna start soon.
Oh, that's not right.
so she said,
Yeah, her mom.
she opened the door
her
and she said, now
father's in
come
there.
over here and let's open the gates of hell with Monica. You two, mom and dad. So her parents are presumably in that room, but also someone else or something else is in there, because now come over here and then you two, mom and dad. So there's 3 things in that room.
Will be born again as the successor to
Oh, so she's just becoming Junko Jr. Except somehow more fucked up than Junko, while also not being as fucked up. Because I think that Junko was more fucked up, but she didn't outwardly show it. It was more just her being, like, goofy, rather than being, like, creepy.
I know you're working hard, but I decide when you've worked hard enough.
Said the guy who's chained up all the time.
And I'll keep watching you.
Do you think Toko's Fantasies includes the report cards?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh good, we're getting to chapter 5. This game's not gonna have a 6th chapter, apparently.
Yeah, man, I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we're out of characters, but, I mean, we still haven't done anything with that terrible Monokuma pimp guy.
I was gonna say, we currently have beaten all of the children except for Monica.
And this one's a neon sign.
Albeit,
What about...
the pink-haired girl never got grabbed that we know of.
Well, what about this? Like, you know, the next chapter we deal with Monica, but then they do something dumb and be like, hey, I'm Electro Junko, and I'm the final boss now. Are the kids cheering for it?
I think some of the kids are cheering, and...
I don't know who those silhouettes are supposed to be.
I mean, there were some adults. I saw that, for sure.
Yeah, because the Monokumas are definitely going to be able to take out this thing. It's about as much animation you're going to get from a Chunsoft game.
You forget there was actual anime cutscenes in these games.
Well, yeah,
Just
but like
most
they
of the
never do
time.
that. They never do that in house. At least they usually don't. They usually contract that shit out to like actual animation studios.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, because there was actual anime cutscenes in this game. It's just most of them are stuff like this.
I developed the
really loud.
robot to scream for some reason.
Who's the boss now?
He's literally shaking.
Control this big bang Monokuma. Those little-
And apparently the 2 girls are worried about him. Which I would be too.
You guys are the saviors of this town.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would play the inspirational theme here because... I don't know. It seems like it may be out of control. And wait, Monica, like, knew this was coming?
Greetings. I came to say my goodbyes.
And why, you leaving the city?
Going already? But this is where the fun starts.
Can't you tell him to stay? I thought he was your servant.
Oh, the real deal starts now. It's like you finally get the girl of your dreams, so now you can start wearing her underwear whenever you want.
Sure.
Pretty clever. Let's put that shit on a calendar.
Shit on a calendar?
Well, he wants to put the thing he said about the wearing your girlfriend's underwear on a
Oh
calendar.
yeah, I forgot about the fucking demon crest she drew.
Yeah, the, like, summoning circle.
Yeah, summoning circle.
Oh, what? Is this it? You're finally gonna come out of the closet.
I've received word from
I don't even know if Nagito has, like, a sex drive. I think he's too fucked up for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you. I think he's too fucked up.
I wouldn't imagine Nagito would care about sex. I think he's too interested in his plans.
Alone? I see. Was this
Yeah, what did they say?
I've received word from the Monokuma kids that someone has come into Towa City and they're alone.
Okay, so we have a new person who just entered the city and they're alone.
Was it...
But I caution.
Was it, Mr. Dingus coming after he said he wouldn't?
Makoto?
Yeah, I thought his name started with M.
Looks just like an action movie, meow.
I mean, I know you're in a blimp, but I think the robot might be able to reach the blimp.
Killed.
I mean, he has a giant staff.
Rude, despite the fact that your plan is about to be ruined.
Ruin? You talking about ruin? Monica's plan is totally going smoothly.
How do you know?
Totally.
Monica tells Kurikuma her plans.
Sorry. I know you helped me out and everything, but this plan...
I doubt that Nagito doesn't know about this secret plan.
Is this plan related to the successor of Junko and Oshima?
And in other words, he just said what the plan was.
Oh, zip zip your mouth.
Well, it does not matter what you're planning. In the end, hope shall win the day.
Even in this state, he wanted the same thing.
Yeah, that's what he said during the... It was very interesting when we saw him during the one part, because essentially what we learned when he talked to us by the exit is that because of how fucked up he was prior to like Junko turning them becoming the remnants of despair, he's like both a remnant of despair because he's like the remnant of despair who wants hope to win, and thus so like he's really weird in the sense that like he was so fucked up before what happened to them that he basically didn't get any more fucked up when like everybody in his class got fucked up. Because remember that the remnants of despair got reverted back in the digital program. They got reverted back to before they became remnants of despair, meaning he was in that, but he was super fucked up in that game too. And so he was essentially fucked up before he became a remnant of despair.
It's Nagito. Da 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 da.
Fucking stupid. It's like going to the desert to drink some tasty water.
It's totally contradictory, right?
And that's how I'm
Kinda,
going to
yeah.
become Junko.
You misunderstand.
By doing things that don't make sense.
You first must let it flourish. Wait until the despair has grown to its largest size, and then burn it. All the way to the roots. And after that, only hope will remain. That is the world I seek. There is nothing contradictory in that. Well, not that it even matters.
Because you guys are about to get fucked up. That's... no.
You really are amusing, Mr. Servant. Despite the fact that you know you've fallen into despair, you still fight for hope. Could it be from Big Sis Junko's influence? Or were you
Yes.
always like this?
Who cares, Monica? Just let this jump exit stage left. There's something
Just drop him out of the blimp and then he'll die.
Yep, that's right.
He'll enjoy it anyway.
Really looking forward to it. Just how will the world look through the eyes of the successor?
Monica, you're so into it. Your heart resonates. Hot enough to burn.
Thank you, Kurokuma, for giving Monica such a splendid plan.
Yeah, stop it. Your little hills up against my
What?
body. Are you pushing those little buttons?
She's like 8.
You doing this on purpose, Monica?
10, I think, but yeah.
Monica!
She's also not that close to you.
Thank you for the hard work, Mr. Servant. I'm sure we will not see each other ever again.
Okay. I'm gonna go die now. When the chapter...
I think from her perspective, he's gonna die? I don't know.
Here, sir.
What? Hello?
But
Oh, I think the stream got choppy for a few
Everyone,
seconds.
Hear me out. First off, I gotta apologize to you guys
How are there this many survivors?
Wasn't because I was waiting for an opportunity.
Do you have like sub apartments that we never saw in the shelter?
I was just scared shitless by those kids. Makes me
I mean, considering that it seems like half the audience is wounded,
Someone
I think they can
snapped me out of it.
sympathize.
Those two girls over there, neither kids nor adults.
There are no teenagers in this city. They all died.
I finally woken up. No matter how scared you are, if you want a hopeful future, sometimes you gotta fight for one. So never again. Never are we gonna hide and cower and lose what we care about. Now it's time to stand up. With our hands, we are gonna take back this city. We have the power now. With
Is Big Bang Monokuma just gonna explode now? To be the ultimate joke?
So, well, no. So her plan is she's driving them to despair, right? He's not actually hopeful. If you look at his face, it's just despair. It's us or them now. So his plan is to kill all the kids, basically.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna kill everyone. He's just gonna level the city, isn't he?
Basically, that's what it looks like. He's almost at that point where if it stops the kids, he'll kill everything and everyone.
They are not calm.
She said, wouldn't it be better if they were calm? So yes, they're not calm. You're correct.
They have some agency. They're gonna use it.
Yo, got a sec? Shiroro wants to talk to you guys right away.
He's got another plan.
There's something we have to talk about too. So you guys are worried too, right? It'd be bad if the adults attack the kids.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of the only way to stop it, though, unless they want to somehow evacuate the city.
But the children too. If they end up fighting like this, both the kids and adults will end up killing each other.
Well, yeah, it's a war. That's where we are.
I mean, didn't you want the
I don't think we're going to be able to find a peaceful solution to this.
Like you, I didn't know that Haiji had that kind of weapon. The reason I tried to motivate them was to give them the power to protect themselves.
And, I mean, technically, this is...
About protection.
This is technically what that is.
Adults and kids fight one another with the power to destroy.
Well,
Would be terrible.
there's an argument to be made between protection and the fact that if they come for us, we will fight back, and another end of it being we're gonna take the fight to them. Right? Because in theory, he could just like gather a bunch of resources, and anytime the Monokumas try to attack where the adults are, the gigantic Monokuma just destroys them all. And that could be what they do, right? They could bunker down, gather resources. Anytime Monokumas try to kill them, the big one just stops it, because the big one literally can beat all the small Monokumas. But instead, he's taking the big Monokuma to where the kids are and actively attacking the kids now.
Yep. It's hard to have sympathy for either side on this one.
Calm them down a little.
Right, I'm not saying we need to have sympathy towards the kids. I'm saying the adults are no longer protecting themselves. They are now attacking the kids.
They weren't even protecting themselves in the first place.
I mean, yeah, okay, but they now that they have the means to protect themselves, they're not protecting themselves. Instead, they are attacking.
We don't have to be afraid anymore.
Even though I'm really afraid right now.
We might take lives, but either way, we will not be afraid anymore. Today, we make the memorial of our victory.
That's not okay.
The memorial of the kids' defeat.
It's hard to believe these are the same adults that were so scared earlier. They want blood. The moment they saw that stupid huge Monokuma, their eyes lit up. Yeah, maybe it is their last hope.
And I could say that as Hiroko because I'm not scared of anything.
There's no way they'd listen to us if we told them to go easy because they're just kids.
Yeah, but they're also kids who murder people.
I mean, they're kids who have robots that murder people. We also have evidence to suggest that not all the kids are murdering.
Yeah, but unfortunately they're wearing the uniform, so they're gonna get killed too.
Yep.
Kuma's running amok in town, aren't
Stop wearing the Nazi uniforms, you fucking idiot. That's how you got shot in the head.
Somewhere. I would guess that the controller is at Toa Hills, the kids' HQ.
Oh, so we gotta sneak into the HQ while it's being attacked by the giant robot.
Yeah, so we have to apparently break in and destroy we have to take out the robot controller before the adults kill all the kids.
The heroes will stop functioning all at once, and the kids will no longer have an army. If you guys do that, I'm sure you can prevent the fight between adults and children.
Time to go get into some subterfuge.
Attack defenseless children.
Foreshadowing.
I hope.
But who's going to do it?
We're gonna see the remnants of well, not the remnants of despair. We're gonna see the
who's-
despair
okay,
apocalypse directly happen.
Who's gonna do that? Toko, we're gonna do that. We're gonna be the ones that have to go and stop the robot control.
Tell us to do it. Sneaking into heavily guarded enemy territory.
I mean, you're the one who decided we had to stay in the city, so what else did you think we were gonna do?
When the Big Bang
Were we just gonna sit in the corner and stick our fingers up our butts?
busy dealing, if you use that as a distraction, it won't be impossible to break into Toa Hills.
But I thought we were supposed to get there before it started attacking.
Whether it's possible or not isn't the problem.
So I think we have to stop it from attack. We have to beat them to Toa Hills. It can still fight its way to Toa Hills.
In order to
I mean, the reason why you have to risk your lives is because you're literally the most competent people in this whole city. Except for Hiroko, who's apparently the best at everything, but she doesn't do anything.
No matter what the plan is, it's just not possible.
I know I'm asking you for a lot, but you two are the only
Well, especially since, you know, I don't have a body.
beg you. You guys are the
I mean, I can't do anything.
this town.
Save this town? What do you mean?
What do you mean save this town? It's completely fucked over anyway.
Not heroes or anything.
There's nothing left to
In
save.
that situation.
Except for like a few ruined buildings.
I'll try.
Why does Kamara want to save the city that was her prison?
I know it's dangerous, but even then, I can't just leave it like this.
Keep people from killing each other, probably.
Maybe
I need to be the protagonist person.
you admire him.
It's not like that.
So it's definitely like that. I knew it. You have a brother complex.
No, seriously, it's not. Kamaru, you've grown. I'm so glad to see you
Sure.
like this.
That's what's been bothering me.
She's become a better person, and I'm still the same.
For some reason, it concerns me. I don't know.
Don't worry.
You're becoming too much like Makoto, who I don't like.
I have a reliable friend named Toko.
That's, well, it's true, but
So, it's the final hour. What are you guys gonna do?
fine. You want me to go, right?
Well, we developed the plan, so we're gonna go do the plan.
I even have a choice. However, the objective is rescuing Master.
That has never been the main objective.
Okay. Thanks, you
That has
two.
never been what we've tried to do, ever.
Looks like it's about to begin.
I
You
think
better
the
get
very
running.
First chapter it was. Very first chapter, we were just running around. So yeah,
They're gonna just beat up all the children. Are the robots, like, deactivated? Because they're still robots. Like, okay, you can't,
I think-
you can't intimidate robots.
I think just mob overwhelming numbers are breaking some of the robots, and then the big robots destroying.
Oh, now he's super calm about it.
We should hurry.
He's super smug about his giant robot.
Catch me in your open arms, Master.
Are we gonna go to our fantasy?
Sure, why not?
No, we didn't. Okay. Item over here.
I suppose since we're finally into the gameplay, I can tell you about the game that I've been playing after we read this. Kenshirox. He doesn't have a last name. How do I know who this guy is? What is he, like a fucking Shonen Jump character? Is it like Hiroko's husband? Oh, Hiroko's over there.
Yeah, we're gonna get an explanation here in a second.
And apparently there's an NPC that wants to talk.
I'm guessing it's What's His Dingus's dad.
The giant robot that's just standing still? Here's our ID card.
No, I wanna say Slowpoke Kamaru.
I wonder what she's gonna say to that. So like, why you hand me your business card? Do you know this guy?
Hey.
He's not that old.
Togo. Jeez.
Respeculate your elders?
And?
I don't know. The police archives?
You're right.
Yeah, there's definitely a group out there that just hands out jobs to PIs. It's not a secret. Look, PIs aren't secret. I mean, they're not gonna get any business. No, they don't. They don't solve cool crimes.
You're right.
Toko hates the police.
I mean, she is a serial killer.
What's the thing to solve? Who this old guy is? Do you know this guy who looks exactly like fucking Haiji?
Hey.
What?
No.
How do you know who this guy even is?
You're right.
Oh. Yeah, now I see the resemblance.
I guess.
Whoever it is, they're related to Sakura.
A little bit. She was an impossible human being.
I don't know if she's impossible.
Okay, very unlikely.
Yeah, I'll go with very unlikely. There are some giant-ass swole chicks, though, in the world.
I mean, why would he want to be an assassin, considering he's way too huge to be conspicuous?
Well, in the picture we had, it was hard to tell if he was huge or not, because it was just his head. Because, like, he doesn't look that huge. He just looks like he has huge hair. Anyway, let's give her Slowpoke Maru.
Hey, I found this over there.
A typical mass-produced demon.
What?
Well, because we handed it to her to get an explanation of who the person was. And we just handed her ours. So, hey, who's this person? You fucking kidding me? This is you, you dumb shit.
Well,
Just kidding.
Oh, she's just kidding. Kamara just takes everything seriously.
Stop it!
I mean, if you get dragged behind a bike, that's not gonna do anything. Or did she just, like, misinterpret the thing that she said?
No. So what she did there, she says, no, I wasn't imagining the thing you said, plus add a detail you didn't say that proves I was imagining it. That's what she just did. So she did that thing where she's like, yeah, I totally wasn't imagining getting hit upside the head with a crowbar and also dragged behind by a bike, even though she Toku said nothing about the bike, meaning she clearly was, because where did the bike come from, if not from her own imagination?
How would you describe yourself, Kamaru? You're very boring. I mean, fair enough, she has unique hair.
She makes funny voices with an electric fan. Everybody makes funny voices with an electric fan.
I mean, she could probably think of another 5 stupid things that she does.
Stop it! More importantly...
Don't they... I mean, they know she's in the city.
Yeah, the unknown hunting ground. Well, my guess is because they took off her wristband, they can't, like, actively track her anymore.
I'm so happy that I'm gonna be this. You want to talk to that NPC who wants to yell at us in the corner?
Probably.
Could it be?
Well, we beat up a lot of robots with it, so now I gotta go beat up a child. I mean, they did it to my dad, so this is just fair.
I feel like the normal Monokumas, like one Monokuma could easily get beaten by 3 people with baseball bats.
I think the problem is that against us, they never, like, do the things that they're allowed to. Against the NPCs, they're allowed to get, like, the claws out and be all fucked up.
That's true. I mean, there's some of the special kinds of Monokumas are, like, super fucking dangerous, like the Beast Monokumas, that literally...
Yep.
There's, like, whole mechanics about not, like, avoiding fighting them every single time they show up. Like, those ones are scary.
Oh, he's already mentally trained himself to murder people. We don't want to get caught up in this whole mess. So we just gotta go down the street.
Yeah, basically.
Well, since we're going down the street, at least I can do my Fire Emblem update. Because
yeah.
I only did a couple of chapters, just like I said, I didn't have any time. But I got to the end of Act... Actually, I think since the last time, I actually ended Act 1, and now I've ended Act 2. Because Act 2 was half the length of Act 1.
Gotcha. Did you get to, are you playing as Ike now, or who are you playing as?
I did finally get to Ike, and, the problem is his design is better, but he is still running around with that stupid fucking shoulder guard he has. Because it's the stupidest part of his design, because it doesn't have anything to do with anything else. It's just like, literally, they gave him like a fucking, I don't know how you describe it, like a Warrior of the Forest-esque design, and then they just slapped this giant fucking shoulder guard on him for no reason.
Is it the same one that's in Smash?
Probably, but I think Smash, like, fixed it to kind of make it look a little better.
Yeah, because Smash, he has a shoulder, and in the more recent Smashes, he has a shoulder guard. And in Brawl, he doesn't have a shoulder guard.
I will say that his design is still better, because, like, his path design, it looked like they just, like, randomly threw up a bunch of colors on his clothes. Like, he had, like, black and dark green and brown just, like, mixed together. But this one, he's kind of more clothes with his browns and reds and blues. So it doesn't look like a giant mess. But, I will say that Act 1 of this game is probably the best story that Fire Emblem has done as of this time. But Act 2, as you would probably imagine, like, unfortunately, dropped the ball pretty hard. Because they got back to Crimea, and the story that they went with was also completely disconnected from the Dane, from the Dane restoration thing. It's just a side story at this point. I think they're gonna get connected at the problem is that I think overall, I think I'm at like chapter 17, so I don't know if they're gonna do an Act 4. I think they might just stop at Act 3 because they only have like, I think if they are gonna go to 26 and they only have like 10 chapters left. I don't know if they include all the prologues as chapters. If they do, then there might only be like 8 or 9 left. Because each act has a prologue and an end game on top of their chapters.
Well, I know there's 4 because that's what we talked about last time. I literally looked it up.
Okay, so it might be 2 shorter stories, which is, you know, kind of disappointing, but whatever. I'll get to that in a little bit because I wanted to talk about that a little bit. But instead of the brilliant and realistic Dane restoration plot, when we do get back to Crimea, it's Alincia's story. Ike isn't actually in it at all, which is kind of surprising. So what ended up happening is that coincidentally, during the 3 years of what's been happening in Dane, basically Crimea is kind of on the way to a civil war. And that's because this is why the plot is like, I wouldn't say it's like complete garbage, but it doesn't make any fucking sense. So what ends up happening is that we find out that Alincia has been dealing with an uncooperative, it's not really a senate, but kind of like an advisory board of nobles. Like, the nobles have started, like, outwardly hating on Alincia. And their reasons for why is because she's been making overtures to try and form an alliance with Gallia, and a lot of people in Crimea are still racist, which again doesn't make any fucking sense because I think everyone in Crimea kind of knew, hey, Gallia was kind of the big reason why we were able to reclaim our country. So I thought that they were gonna like form back together and deal with their bullshit, but apparently not. The nobles are just still... That's one of their reasons why they're starting to, like, question the queen and being like, hey, we should probably usurp the queen, too. We don't have a doorbell. We have a pedestal bell that activates the electronic door?
Door opens if you ring the bell. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's almost like you should explain that. Or write an explanation in or something. The other big reason why they're hating on Alincia was that they gave Dane to Benian, and they were saying, hey, that was kind of a mistake. Why did you give all this land to the other empire? And I was sitting there, I was like, bitch, are you goddamn serious? Okay, for one, you guys had to spend 3 years rebuilding your fucking country. You remember that fucking war that you had where this guy came in with his big army, and in 2 weeks your entire country was flattened because you barely had an army? You remember that? You remember how all your shit was blown up and shit, and you had to build it again? You know what you didn't have the military for to do? You didn't have one to, you know, go occupy a completely different country and deal with its bullshit on top of your own. Do you think you had the military to do that? Because you fucking didn't. So how the fuck would we have managed that, you stupid fuckers? Like, it's like their fucking complaints are so far away from being any sort of realistic that I was just constantly yelling at the screen. It's because this civil war is being spurred on by things that do not even make the slightest bit of fucking sense. Like, the things that they want are not even possible in any form of reality. So she has to deal with this civil war. It actually erupts. And basically it's this noble guy in like a completely different, like a small town, who's basically riling up all the young people around him to join his civil war. Because I think at that point he's basically lying about Alincia and saying, hey, she's responsible for everything that's shitty, and we gotta depose her because of things that I made up. So it's a really dumb fucking plot. He does get... The guy who is riling up the thing, he gets imprisoned by the end of the story because they raid his castle. He tries to do a diversion where he was like, I abandoned my castle and put up a completely bullshit force because I was sending my actual force to go depose the queen at the fort that she was hiding in. And then some of the elite units, your named units, managed to get like back into the defense, and a lot faster than the Duke thought that they were gonna make it back. So where are the puddles here?
So see where the carpet's a lighter blue? I think that's where it's soaked with water. So like that guy's not standing in water, but that guy is.
So we're gonna have to activate all the vending machines.
Yeah, so the trick to this is we have to use vending machines to move around, but when we finally shoot the final shot, we can't be standing in water. Because we need that's here. So that guy needs to stay put. I can't, because if I shoot this, that guy leaves the water, so I can't. So this guy I need.
So we can't send that guy down to the bottom because that's not in a puddle.
Nah, so what I need to do is this guy needs to move here so that I can run across behind him so that I can shoot this one on the left so that this guy moves, and then I gotta shoot while this guy is dancing at that one. I gotta shoot this one so this guy runs to that one, and then I gotta get out of the water in that little corner there and then shoot the water with the paralysis.
So this is basically going to be a stealth runaround.
Yeah, basically.
So, yeah, I did actually see the start to Act 3, where Ike finally does come into things. He was doing exactly what we thought he was doing, where he, rather than becoming a lord and dealing with the bullshit that he didn't like, he continued being a mercenary and doing the odd jobs, and it basically doesn't sound like he's been making a lot of money, because they kind of make a joke about that. Whereas, like, hey, we kind of haven't been making a living, because, like, for some reason they haven't been making money, which is another thing that I find completely ridiculous, because it's like, this is the mercenary force who literally, like, won the world war. They won the world war and somehow they're not finding work, which is ridiculous. But I think at this point, we're kind of getting into the Benian thing. And Benian is actually the interesting part of this story, because we really don't know what's been happening. We can kind of surmise what's been happening. Hey, it's a robo-controller.
Yeah, we're in the fighter girl's bedroom.
Huh. I mean, it's certainly very pink.
Unwavering girl power.
Healing item +1. And we definitely have the skill points for it. So Benian is the interesting part of this story, because, like I said to you while I was talking about, like, the Act 1, is that Benian has been getting, like, internally corrupt. And kind of outside of the Apostles. The Apostle doesn't really know about it. And
that's what her robot looked like.
Oh, now we have control of the baseball boys robot.
We just moved it out of the way. I think it was in the way someplace that...
So the Apostle doesn't know what's going on, and the Senate's becoming corrupt and evil. Oh, it's the other guy's robot, too.
See, his was the only one that didn't match, because hers is the fighter, right? It looks like a fighter, it's got an axe and stuff. And then that's the bishop guys, the priest guys.
The Senate's oh yeah, and Sephirin, another very high-ranking guy in the government, said a very weird thing at the very end of Path, where even though they won the World War, he was surmising that Ike needs to watch out for himself, because he predicted that, like, there was going to be more strife and Ike was going to have to face, like, a greater trial. And I was sitting there, I was like, the war's ended, so I don't know what the hell he was talking about. Because, like, how could things get worse after that? Because everything's kind of fine as of now. I think he was the guy specifically sent to Dane to do the inspection, but I haven't seen him yet, so I don't know what he was doing or where he ended up. So that's where the interesting part is, and I think they're finally starting to do that, because the thing that started in the thing that kicked off Act 3 was, I don't remember how this happened, but what Benian did was, I don't remember if it was Benian soldiers attacking something on Gallia Gallia's like shores or something. But what did the important part about what happened was that the Gallia sent a they sent a diplomat to Benion to try and I guess try to smooth things over. And what Benion did was that they ignored the thing that the diplomat was trying to say, and then they also killed that diplomat. So now they're on the war path because clearly Benion are going crazy. I just don't remember what preceded that because obviously they sent a diplomat to do something important. I'm trying to remember how Act 3 started. Oh, no, I think no, this was leftover stuff from what happened in the past because I think they sent the diplomat to ask Benion what was going on because the Mad King, who was the villain of the first story, it was revealed that he wasn't the one who killed the Heron people that caused that disaster. It was actually the Benion Senate that ordered that their forest was burned, and they killed almost all of the Heron people, and they responded to that by killing their diplomat. To them just asking, hey, what the fuck were you guys thinking? So now they're on the war path, which is the thing I already said. And here was the bizarre thing, like, Ranulf, who was one of the Legoo's characters from the first Legoo's character from Path, basically asked the Grail mercenaries, hey, do you want to help us out? And Ike said yes. Which, I'm not sure why Ike has decided, hey, I'll go fight a war. It's like, I mean, he's a mercenary force. I don't know why he wants to go get involved in a whole war. Like, he wants to go fight a legit war. And there's just a guy in the ceiling. I mean, this is the monk's room, right?
Yeah, he's got a body hanging from the ceiling.
He's got two bodies in the tree.
And they mentioned that it smells like paint because of all the paint everywhere.
I'm wondering.
Anything neat?
I'm wondering.
His drawings. Not really. Okay.
I'm wondering what Haruka is going to have to say about all this because her country's been doing a lot of bad things, and now they're literally going to war. So I don't know what the fuck she is going to have to say about all this because from what it looks like, it seems like she hasn't become a bad person. The last thing I wanted to say about where the game currently is, and you can kind of probably tell about this happening, where, like, the acts are kind of flying all over the place and going into different countries and involving, like, completely different slates of characters. This is probably the Fire Emblem that has, like, the least Fire Emblem-ing in it. Because the way the game is structured, you can't level up anybody. Like, you can't develop your units. You can't really give them weapons or even really buy things because the acts are so short and, like, they're involving completely different groups of people all the time that you can't invest in any of them. So basically they're just handing you all the time these overpowered units, making them fight other overpowered units, and like, you don't have to worry about masterclassing any of them or getting them, like, any good kit, because the stories are so short that they can't give you any development time. Like, it's a Fire Emblem with all of the Fire Emblem taking out of it.
This is interesting. I think this was written by the priest's mom, or because it was next to the priest robot.
Oh, she's regretting being a mother.
Yeah, it's once again the vaguest of vague when it comes to, like, she just wants her son dead, and she talks about the fact that he has such a worthless face. Just makes me even more sad.
Okay, so she had a mental illness because he had a normal face.
Yeah. And so my guess is this one over here is about the girl.
Her thing is worth like 8 times...
Her body.
Okay.
We're just gonna word it that way.
If you're looking for cost effectiveness, you gotta sell it while you're young. I mean, yeah, it is. Who the fuck would write this down and think like this makes any amount of sense? So, she didn't want to become like a pimp, she just wanted to become a pimp for like one person. What the fuck is she talking about? Tears have value. No one wants to see that, that's terrible.
No, I'm sure there's some sick psychopath that would rape a child and get off on the fact that the child's crying.
I mean, this is a. I kind of want to say it's a Saturday cartoon villain, but that's not what this would be at all. And wait, what the fuck is she talking about? It's not like I want money. It's not like I want to entrust my dream to my daughter. So this doesn't make. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. How does this make any sense? I don't get what the fuck she's talking about.
I think there's a essence of, because remember her skill was like ultimate actor or ultimate actress or something, was like the kid's skill. So like my guess is all of this is tethered to getting her like a role, or like getting her. I don't know, because it's weird, because there's definitely stuff about like they're literally prostituting the girl out, so
yes.
it's more than just Hollywood execs like they're having sex with this kid. So like I don't quite know.
It doesn't. The problem is I don't really see where the logic is. Anyway, we're gonna have to think about finding a cutoff point soon because it's almost 10 o'clock.
Is it? Well, my guess is the next room.
Well,
if I look at the map, there's 2 rooms. My guess is that this room's gonna connect to that next room,
okay,
and it's just gonna be a mirror, but with the next 2 kids. So this was the priest and the fighter. So my guess is this is gonna be the hero.
Yeah,
because there's the hero's robot and there's the sage's robot.
It would end with those 2 robots from earlier, not with these developers.
What?
She broke the 4th wall,
I guess. So let's try and get the puzzles done, and then.
But yeah, there's a save point here. So my thought is I can solve the puzzle, and then maybe we can just call it quits.
Yeah, sorry about the short stream, but I don't want to end up getting to the point where it's like 11 o'clock because it's a bit too late.
No, we're good. I also have to get up for work tomorrow, so we're good.
Well, we're going to be doing this next week too because I got another engagement that they finally set the date on, so.
Oh, is it the murder mystery party that Amber made or whatever?
Yeah, I'm going to be going to that too.
Yeah, she sent me. I was waiting for details, and I'm like, is that happening? And then she sent a message today, and so like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask about it, but I thought that she might have forgotten. And I wasn't going to be like.
I was gonna ask if it was still happening, or cause when she talked to me.
Okay, Beast, Monokuma's in 6 cars.
Yeah, so I have to move all the cars so that I can shoot the last car, but then I have to wait for them to all be in a line.
Yeah, this is gonna be.
Car hits them.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, this one's kind of annoying.
Well, shoot
it's really
5.
easy, but it's really hard to time. Like, what you have to do is really easy, but it's.
Well, shoot 5 cars, and then we'll get. Well, if they're just gonna stand still.
They pause for a short period of time. Oh wait.
You have to shoot them in an order, don't you?
Yup. And I definitely didn't do it in the right order.
Nope.
I probably don't even have to shoot all of them. So let's take a look here.
So yeah, I think that by the end of the game, Radiant Dawn is probably going to be my favorite Fire Emblem. just because it's the Fire Emblem that has, like, no work to do in it.
Okay, I only have to hit every other. I have to hit the first one, the fourth one, and the fifth one to be able to hit the sixth one.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot.
The first one. I have to hit the fourth one.
Yeah, you can hit 5 and then get to 6.
One. And then I have to stand here and wait for them to get into a line.
Oh yeah, just go for it. I think that was 4 of them.
Yeah, I think got all 4 of them. It did, so we're good.
Yeah, Despair Girl's not really Chunsoft's best work.
I wanted to shoot all the cars for the sake of shooting the cars. Oh well.
I mean, it's still good, but...
That PE is This room reeks of insecurity and overcompensation. Do you have some kind of grudge against athletic people, Toko?
She has a grudge against, like, 80% of humanity. Masaru Damon's diary, and he crossed out diary and then just wrote diary again.
I think Monica did this.
Okay, so they're talking about the mind control. Brain rinsing is possible. She has actual magic. She has a magic wand. It's a Resident Evil file.
About this brain rinse part. He clearly means brainwash.
Brainwashing? Does that really exist? I've only seen
Said the lady with the magic code gun.
I was gonna say, saying the person who's been fighting giant robots with a code gun and in a world where there's artificial intelligence.
Solving many puzzles using arcade machines.
Technology was developed long ago. Technology like that can't exactly be advertised.
I mean, kind of. It was mostly just like drugs.
The masterminds made the other kids wear those helmet things to brainwash them.
That's even more reason we gotta stop the adults from fighting the
Maybe this game is so...
Which raises a really weird question, because some of the kids in the helmets aren't fighting for the kids. But we also know that it might be Monica's plan to... Because when the adults came to attack, she was happy. So, like, maybe she's been having both sets of kids do shit. Like, both the good kids and the bad kids. Like, maybe she's been having some kids be evil and having other kids do good. So that it would help spur everything to where we're at.
It's gonna be one of those dumb plots where she was like, I planned all the terrorism, but I also planned some of the counter-terrorism because it would defeat my own terrorism. It would double-cross my plan, which was actually a part of my other plan, which is now going into effect. Because I'm so much smarter than you thought I was.
What do you mean?
I know that you're growing, but I have a bad feeling about this. The way you've grown.
Oh, I feel like the whole situation has been set up. Okay, yeah. So Toka's catching on to the fact that there's a plan within a plan.
Set up?
The one who teamed up with that white-haired guy, trying to bring you all the way here.
Yeah, and there's also that other intruder that we don't know who was.
Right in the kids' HQ. It's exactly as that person planned.
And the person who it is Hajime, evil version.
Anything about this war, right?
Right, but
Could be.
Going to be all right.
I mean, it could actually just be anybody.
Whose idea this was, or why they're doing this, but as long as we stop this violence, nothing else matters.
Apparently the whole hopefulness thing just runs in the Naegi family.
now is believe in ourselves, and we're really
And people who look like them.
And people who look like them.
Because Nagisa, or not Nagisa, Nagito.
Yeah, so Nagisa, one of these characters'
Or
last names.
Nagito. Yeah, no, so Hold on. Now I'm getting all my characters mixed up. Makoto Naegi. Okay, Makoto. Yes, Nagisa is someone's last name, but it's. I got him. I was saying that when I was meaning to say Nagito, because you have Makoto Naegi and then you have Nagito, and they both look similar to one another, and they both have hope shit. Now, given one's hope shit is crazy. Whose last name is Nagisa though? Someone in this game has a Nagisa.
Oh, Nagisa is the name of the guy we just beat up.
Oh, the sage?
The social studies kid.
I was like, I feel like I remember the name Nagisa showing up in this series, and yeah, that would be it then.
He's got a whole soccer pitch ready to go.
Lol.
Slap her ass. Slap her ass good.
Like, my brain says if I shoot knockback into it, I want something to happen, but it's not going to.
Eh. I don't think that Chunsoft has the time for Capcom Easter eggs. Here's my king with drill arms.
That's the hero robot.
The robot moved.
Now let's get to the shotgun sniper. I love how the first sentence is I ordered my son to go buy me beer.
I even gave him money. He comes back home empty-handed. He said something about not having ID or something. Whatever, who cares? I trained the boy. I made him go do it one more time, and he comes back with alcohol. The next day, the cops show up. Apparently, the little shit stole it. Brat humiliated me, but I trained him good as soon as the cops left. I hate my son's face when I'm teaching him a lesson. Yeah, so his is just straight up just.
Oh yeah, this is the hero thing.
The shit beat out of him, because training's just getting the shit beat out of him. That's all all that's saying.
This is just classic alcoholic bad parent.
Yeah, alcoholic, abusive, hits you upside the head parent.
Well, also really, really dumb parent. Because, like, dude, you sent, like, a 10-year-old to go buy your beer.
Right, and then when he succeeded at getting the beer after you quote-unquote trained him, it's because he stole it because he couldn't get it any other way, but he was so afraid of getting beaten showing up empty-handed that he stole it rather than getting beaten.
Yeah.
But then the cops showed up because he stole it. You probably swung some bullshit to the cops about how my kid stealing beer? Ah, I'm so pissed. My kid's a delinquent. And then you beat the shit out of him again once the cops left.
The cops didn't think the things he was saying was weird, so he got away with it somehow.
Well, yeah, because he just claimed his kid was stealing booze because his kid's a fucking troublemaker, and you know.
I'm sorry, my kid's a fuckface.
I'll punish my kid for stealing.
Just make sure you don't listen to him at all, because he's a dumb 10-year-old. I don't know how he even learned what beer is. You definitely didn't learn it from me, upstanding citizen dad man.
This room feels different than the others.
It's got vending machines in it.
More like a riddle.
Well, what's the riddle? Is it to count to 4?
That is actually kind of weird. Yeah. So, okay, so we have a bomb, a dance guy,
well,
a normal Monokuma, and a thing. There doesn't.
I'm thinking the question's in the room.
But and then there's no, hey, here's what ammo you can use.
Okay, so you can use all the ammo.
Or there's a different riddle to it that's in here. Like there's an order in which I have to kill them. An order of the Monokuma that explodes. Yep. Here's the music, the sound one.
One of them is missing. Which isn't much of a puzzle, obviously.
Here's the security guard one.
And the obvious missing one is the normal one.
And so the missing one's the normal one, I guess.
It's a mirror? Okay. What is the answer? We have to shoot ourselves?
It's on the other side. Hold on, there's something right on the other side.
Use the thing that only you can see and the thing that only others see in precise order.
What?
Okay, so the mirror is probably not going to be the normal one.
Use the thing that only you can see, and the thing only others see. Well, the thing others can see is me.
Well, no, they're looking at, like, walls, so maybe there's something written on the walls?
I don't know. Let's look around if there's more hints anywhere. Or if it's just the enemies. Oh, there's a thing.
Okay, we need to find a password. Can you link into any of these? Or all of them?
Oh yeah, it probably uses link. Because there's probably something they're looking at. And so this is the password, right? It's security guy me, dancer bomb. But there must be something only I can see, like a number hidden that the Monokumas can't see that I can see, like based on where it's written.
Well, let's get the most of the password. Let's establish the rest of the room. What are we missing here?
Okay, 9. So this one's looking at a 9. The normal one's looking at a 9.
3.
It's looking at a 3.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a 3. I don't know if it's supposed... I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that's a 3.
He's looking at an 8.
Okay. Siren Boy. Looking at a 4.
Looking at a 4. So it's 3 something 4 8. So 3 something 4 8. 3 something 4 8. Now we just gotta figure out what's the one only I can see.
It's a mirror. I mean, it's definitely not on the wall behind the mirror.
Right? I was gonna
the
say.
Mirror. To be fair, if you want to...
Is there a number back in this room? No.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like there's any more information. Which is usually why I hate riddles, because it's like something... It always seems like riddles are trying to trick you with something dumb.
Right. But my brain says there's got to be a number hidden that only we can see.
I don't know. Well, it's insane. It's incredibly vague. It's a thing that only we can see.
Right, so these guys can't see it, because that's what others see. Use that thing, use the thing only you can see, and the thing only others
try detecting everything.
You're right.
There's probably...
Oh! Hold on, no, I'm stupid. It's gonna be on the mirror, right?
No.
Oh, no.
It's behind the mirror. Yeah, I kind of figured that probably wasn't gonna be an answer there. That's kind of a shame. I thought that'd at least be an easy answer to this. The fact that it's a mirror... We can't just shoot the mirror either.
Can I walk to any of these Monokumas?
No, there's holes everywhere.
I was like, because my thought is maybe like if I can walk to one of them and shine the light on their number turns into a different number.
Yeah, that's probably not going to be the answer.
But I can't get to any of them, so...
The remaining number should have been a 9. And if you flip it backwards, then that doesn't help.
Maybe if I kill one of the Monokumas, something happens? I don't...
I think if you kill them, then you're gonna lose your...
Okay, just respawn. Well, yeah, that's the problem is I don't even know, because it doesn't limit me. It doesn't say it limits me to a specific ammo type.
Oh, wait. Go back to the... No, go... Well, you can reset. Go back to the
I'm
fucking...
restarting it in case doing that.
No, go back to the fucking... Go back to the arcade machine. I think there was something on top of the thing.
Yep, you're right. There's a 0.
There you are.
You are right. There's a 0. So I can see the 0 on the arcade machine.
So 3048. Was that what you were getting at?
I think so. Yeah,
if I don't remember what the numbers are either.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was 3. Well, let's just reestablish the puzzle.
8. So the last number is 8. First number is 3. So this is probably 4, if I recall. 4.
Yep, you got your number.
3048.
Yeah, it wasn't much of a riddle then. It's showtime! Here's all these books.
I feel nauseous.
They're all reference books?
Maybe you already forgot this, but I'm a liberal arts girl.
Which means I don't learn any actual information, apparently. This kid had the most boring life imaginable. He just read reference books all day, all night. And also I'm getting stuck in a table. Blue thread from the scarred mountain. Oh, it's Toko's book.
Oh yeah, it is. I dream about you every night on my thin futon on the creaking kitchen floor. From the author of So Lingers the Ocean.
So Lingers the Ocean?
So Lingers the Ocean. Blue thread of the scarred mountain.
Toko, your book. It's really saucy. 47. Holy shit, she wrote 80 books.
Nothing.
Yeah, but even people who do have not written 80 books.
I don't know, I'm trying to think of books, like, authors who have, like, an absolute shit ton of books. Where they just, like, pump out the same style story over and over and over and over and over and over again. Tom Clancy, how many books does he have?
Well, he's dead, so...
But, like, he wrote tons of, like, special op military stories.
Let me Google a couple. Maybe I can get some answers. Okay, apparently Agatha Christie throughout her entire career has written 80 books.
I was gonna say, Agatha Christie also wrote a fuck ton.
You see.
Come on, just give me the Wikipedia, okay?
Alright, so once they get out, Kamaru and Toko are going on a picnic.
I see.
Okay, while he was alive, this one section says that he wrote 20 books.
Oh, really?
Alright.
And it looks like he wrote about 7 or 8 non-fiction books. Actually, it's probably more than that.
Stop it.
I think around 15,
Yeah,
non-fiction books.
What my brain is going is that you have to find an author who writes nothing but the same style story over and over and over again. Well, like Agatha Christie, which is why Agatha Christie was a good joke. She write good author.
Well, I'm gonna go for one more.
Okay. Because Agatha Christie wrote like basically just murder mystery after murder mystery. So
I mean, the problem with the next one I'm gonna be picking is also alive, so it's not a perfect fucking one. Okay, what's the? Come on, just give me some numbers. That doesn't help. You ding dong. The problem is this guy has written more short stories, but the problem is those get compendium-fied, and I don't know how many of those exist.
Who's the person you looked up?
I will tell you when I have numbers. Which I don't think I'm gonna get.
Stephen King? Stephen King's probably written a ton of stuff. But I wouldn't necessarily know if he's mostly short stories.
Well, I give up. I don't know. Let's just say.
Who was it?
Well, novels. Stephen King has written about 70 novels. But the problem is he's still alive, so he wasn't the best example.
What about
I mean, the other thing is that King is about in his mid-70s, so he should probably retire at this point.
Anyway, if you want to read about the experiment that was Nagisa, he's like literally only referred to as experiment.
Yeah, I think he was talking about that before.
Until now I have solely used visual observation, but I should erect cameras to watch the subject at all times and discipline the subject when the resting longer than allowed. Literally not referring to him by anything other than subject.
Yep. Apparently the bottom line answer for this entire situation was mental health. Just get your shit fixed. And fix your system.
The girl was the only one who didn't have a
It's almost like she's not dead.
She gets special treatment or something just because she's the mastermind.
Has Toko met the children, like, in a group?
No, I don't think so.
So is she just assuming that she's the mastermind just because she's the only one who's alive?
No, I mean, I think. Oh.
Well, we're gonna have to run back or try and find a fucking save point.
I thought that because the other two rooms had a save point immediately in the next room, I thought this one would have a save point in it too.
Well, there might be. There's side areas and like, you know, it doesn't seem like there's anything much more on the second floor. I mean, there's stuff to check out.
Yeah, I'm gonna run around here to see if there's.
Yeah, otherwise you're gonna have to keep your PC on all week, and you're probably not gonna do that.
I mean,
oh, he was just a dead child.
Literally, all we have to do is run backwards a room and save.
I'm done with this child. Get her out of here. Fuck this bitch. I hate her. We just have the most toxic monsters ever committed to fiction exist all over this goddamn story. I mean, you can
So someone's writing about this new member coming to the family and ruining it. I'm gonna guess the family member might be Monica, and this might be Monica's family now, because we kind of got letters from.
That would kind of explain Monica's whole deal. She wasn't seen as, you know, human. But then again, I don't think any of these kids were seen as human. I mean, you can definitely see where the kids are coming from, just designating all adults as monsters.
Right. But yeah, alright, so I don't see a save point directly in this room, so I'm just gonna run back down the stairs in this room and save at the save point.
So yeah, if you're disappointed, sorry, but unfortunately streaming doesn't bring in any money, so, you know, we both have to work.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't the first time we've you know, ended the stream at this, you know, this short.
So yeah, next week we're going to be returning to the third birthday, which isn't really fun, but we're going to see it through anyway. We're going to have more discussions about, I don't know how I'd call it, because the first thing I wanted to call it was sexuality in video games, but that's not really what it's about, but it's kind of what it's about.
Sexualization in video games?
Yeah, so we're probably going to continue discussing that. I don't know what else would be on the table to talk about.
Well, I mean, I'll have video games to talk about because I already kind of talked about Scarlet, and I think without spoiling everything, I'm done talking about Engage. But I am playing Dragon Quest XI now.
That's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to actively sit down and work through my backlog of Switch games, specifically just the Switch games. Like, I think in my brain, if I break it down into just one system's things, I think I might be able to sit down and actually complete these games. So I pulled out all the games to my Switch that I have yet to beat, and I will quickly tell you the number of how many there are.
15, just like me.
So, let's see here. Now that Scarlet and Engage are out of the way, there are...
I mean, that's what I'm going to be planning on. I'm going to finish up with RuneScape and how much I want to do, maybe in like 2 or 3 months, and then I'm going to work on my backlog.
There is 21.
That's a lot more than mine, because I think mine's up to like 12 or 13.
21 Switch games, and I think that's out of the ones I chose because I think there's like a handful of games that I never completed on my Switch that I'm just like, yeah, but I didn't like them, or like, yeah, I'm not going to finish it. Like Breath of the Wild. Like, I'm not gonna go finish Breath of the Wild. Fuck that.
Yeah, I saw.
I forgot to put Bayonetta 2 in this pile though. So Bayonetta 2, so 22.
Yeah, I saw somebody do an LP of Breath of the Wild, but for some reason they didn't finish it, but they did like 20 episodes of the LP, which was very strange. Because I think he played the game for like fucking... My brain's saying like fucking like 80 hours, but he didn't finish it.
I mean, I got the Master Sword and did all the, like, the 4 dungeons. But like... Eventually, essentially it was like, okay, now go to where Ganondorf is, and there's like 1,000,000 and one of those stupid fucking robots that like laser you, and I like literally can't fight them.
Yeah, but that's kind of the only fun thing that game did, was like, okay, I gotta get to the castle. I gotta find a way to do it. With all my bullshit. And that's kind of an interesting challenge.
The way to do it is the same way you get anywhere in that game. You use the fucking wind guy's power to fly above everything, because trying to get anywhere on foot / horse gets you killed, because there's always enemies that just one-shot you. At least that was my experience.
Well, that was the challenge. So, like, you can't do that the whole...
It's not a challenge when it's just use this one ability, fly over it, then go take a break while it's on cooldown.
Well, yeah, but you can't do that all the time, so you gotta figure out another strategy to get around the things that are just lasering your face off.
Nah, it worked pretty well. I never found a need to do any other strategy other than, like, sit and wait for it to come off cooldown.
That castle is probably one of the tallest things in the whole game world.
And I got far enough into it that I got to the part where, like, the last of the, like, memories of Zelda were.
Oh, you got pretty deep into that. You're probably halfway there.
Yeah, and that's because I just used the flying power every single time. But yeah, I think that game I'm not going back to. I'm not going to finish the story mode in, like, Mario Golf, you know, things like that. So 22. 22 is the number of Switch games I need to beat.
So yeah, next week's gonna be back to the third birthday, which is gonna be a time, but I set out to do the whole trilogy, so now I'm kind of locked into it, and it's gonna be another Sunday, so another short stream. Thanks for joining us here for another episode of The Balancing Act. I'm actually glad we finally got that fucking topic off the table, because I knew it was gonna take forever to talk about.
Gotcha.
So yeah, check back in the next 50 years, and maybe that will actually have gone somewhere.
Only time will tell, I guess.
See you next time, everybody.